Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and let me make sure you can hear me. If I can figure this out. Get this all going. Hold on. Hold on, guys. Sorry for the silent treatment there. Just want to make sure you guys can hear me. We're going to go double check here for a second. Hold on. Hold on for a second. Okay. Looks like I'm live. So hold on. Okay, you can. Just making sure I can hear it on my end. Just had to check something there. And I'm going to check over here on the TV. I think you can hear me here. Alright, that's good. Just making sure, guys. Just making sure. But yeah, welcome to Topics on My Mind for Monday, the 27th of March, the last Monday in the month. I know I did a TGIF update, I mean, not update, but channel Topics on My Mind deal the other day on Friday. Um, I did that a little later in the day than I am doing it right now. Right now it is 1:56 p.m. Pacific. I will say that I'm probably going to get a phone call from my mom in a little while because she likes to call up, check up on things, see how things are going and stuff. And she has a tendency sometimes to, talk a little bit longer than she normally should, especially on her lunch. But, that's how she is, and I love her for that, you know. But it's just one of those situations to where you just, gotta, when you do live, you just gotta sacrifice what you're doing sometimes to basically, get the job done, get what you're trying to do done and everything. And basically, that is expected to happen very, very soon. So I'm letting you guys know that right now, just in case you do hear the phone go off in the background. But yes, right now though, we are here with topics on my mind, and you can see on the screen grab, if you will, if you're watching this on YouTube, and eventually listening to it through the various podcasts down the line. Basically, if you will, if you're listening to it through the various podcasts down the line and everything, you know, like Spotify, Apple TV and such. If you're listening it through those areas, yeah, you can see the topics up there, and in the description, those are what we are talking about today, and we'll get into those in just a little bit. But before we do, you see it, of course, on there as well. We have some channel updating and vlogging to do, basically let you know what's going on with the channel, as well as let you know what's been going on most of all. Now, first of all, I do want to send out my condolences, prayers, and everything to the families of today's shooting in Nashville. Obviously, this has got to stop, and Biden. Let's be honest. Whether you like Biden, I don't know you don't. I think we all can agree that the guy needs to, if he says he's going to get something done, he needs to get it done now. He needs to get it taken care of now. He needs to get his anti-assault rifle law, whatever it is, done now. He needs to get it taken care of now. Not wait on Congress. Get it done now, because we need to stop this kind of madness that's going on in our world right now. Because if you're a religious belief, and I am, this is just another sign of the times that this current phase in our lives is approaching its end, and very soon that rapture, that moment, that tribulation is going to be coming. And I'm a firm believer, well, I'm not a firm believer, but I gave my thoughts on the fact that I feel that when that day comes and everything is reset, that time will start over, that our lives will start over again, and basically we'll still go down the same path and everything that we are going down currently, but there will be changes. There will be changes to where all the negativity, all the madness and everything will not affect us. It'll be, just a straight path of what it should have been, from the get-go kind of deal. Um, but yeah, basically though, like I said, my condolences, to the families of the victims and everything, the children that were lost, the staff members that were lost, as well as my condolences to those that were lost in the tornadoes this past week. What was it? A chocolate factory explosion that took some people out in Philadelphia. Prayers and condolences out to their families, and yeah, but yeah, on top of all of it right now, though, is what happened today. And again, if Biden wants this anti-assault rifle bill, a law to go into effect, he's got to step up and do something about it. Not wait on Congress to get off their lazy behinds, if you know what I mean, and do something about it, because it's not going to work. It's basically, it's not going to work either way. Or not work either way, but it's not going to work if one wants it. If one wants it to happen, but the other's not doing it. So one's got to take charge, and if he wants to prove he's a leader and he wants a chance at being, reelected, then he's got to basically step up to the plate. Is what he's got to do. He's got to step up to the plate. So again, my prayers and condolences out to the families of this unfortunate tragedy in Nashville, as well as the other unfortunate tragedies that have happened, nature-wise and work-wise and everything over the past several days and such. Um, Now to get on with a bit of a vlog here. Well, actually, we'll do the channel update first. We'll do the channel update first here. Mainly, ladies and gentlemen, um, what's going on with the channel? I've talked about this in my spring break channel update that I did a couple days ago, but the way things are working out right now, currently, is today I'm off. Tomorrow I work. I work to at least 4 o'clock. I should be home before my mom, but just by a little bit, maybe by 40 minutes at most. And then I think the same goes for, if I can find my phone here, I think the same goes for Wednesday. I think the same goes for Wednesday. I believe that I get off. I'm just double checking here, but yeah, I'll probably be home hopefully before my mom. I don't really know if that's going to happen because, of course, the Turlock Transit bus, for some reason, that picks people up in front of Chili's on Countryside Drive, has been delayed a lot lately. Now, today, what I did do today, and I'll get into this in the vlog, I did kind of take care of that. But right now, this is what it looks like right now. Now, I get off at 4 o'clock tomorrow. If I'm able to take the bus back home, the bus I need to take back home, I should, excuse me, I should be able to get to that, but I should be able to get home by 5:41. That, or at least a little, well, not 5:41. I'll be dropped off around 5:41, depending, but I will be home by at least 5:45. That would give me essentially about, I would say, almost 40 minutes to, you know, uh, to kind of get myself settled in and everything, and have the place to myself. Now on Wednesday, that's pretty much going to be the same thing too. So Tuesday and Wednesday, tomorrow and Wednesday, I'll be getting home around at least 5:45, depending. And then Thursday, I should be getting home, hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, uh, before 4:41. All things depending, um, if you will, all things depending, if you will, um, and down the line. And then, of course, Wednesday, I mean, not Wednesday, but Friday, the last day in this month, I will be off. And hello to Zach G and David Whited, Arcade and Toy Channel. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate it. Again, guys, you could join me in the live chat if you want to right now. Unfortunately, I cannot monetize. I do not know what the reason is. I will try to find out later on. But if you want to help support me, Venmo at Brian-Walmer-2, whatever you can do at the Venmo would be greatly appreciated. And at Cash App at BWROSS98 would be greatly appreciated as well as to check out the Teespring store also. And of course, um, also I got my, you know, and I'm just gonna type this in here. Also got some advertisements here if I can get it up, and everything, so you guys could see that. Hopefully it'll pop up, if you will. Hopefully you'll see it in the pinned section, if you will. But anyway, yeah, help me out there. The Teespring store be greatly appreciated if you guys can do that. But yeah, like I said, basically, Friday, the last day I will be off. Now, the reason I'm bringing these all up is because with the little time I might have in between there, because the way I look at it, between Tuesday and Wednesday, I look at it this way. Before I leave, basically, which would be like a little after 8:30 and such, I believe, from what I could tell, a little after 8:30. The way I look at it is between the time my mom leaves for work and I'm here, at least I'll have the house to myself for about, I would say, because I looked at when she left today on my security camera, and she left about 6:56, something like that. So, um, if I was to look at it from that perspective, you know, if I was to look at it from that perspective, 6:56, 7:56, you know, and all that, and then 8:26, I would look at the fact that I'll have the house to myself for at least 100 minutes, an hour and 40, and then another 40 minutes to add to that, an hour and 80. So essentially, almost 3 hours on both days. Before work and after work combined. That's a 3 hour combined deal. And then come Friday. Then come Friday, if I can get my phone here again, where I put it, just disappeared on me here. Hold on, guys. Oh, there it is. It fell over. But let me get this up here. But come Thursday, basically, I'll be leaving at a certain time too. Basically, each day, starting tomorrow, I'll be leaving like a little before 8:30 to catch the bus. But come Thursday when I get off, and hopefully things work out right, I should be able, basically, I should be able to get home by 4:41. What that would mean for me, at least unless things change, uh, what that would mean for me basically is it would allow me to have basically 4:45 to 5:45 to 6:25 at most, unless she goes out and does something with her fellow teachers. And I do apologize for any noise you may have heard there. But basically from the time she leaves to when I leave, that's about, like I said, about 100 minutes, an hour 40. But Thursday I get back, I should have the place to myself for at least another hour and 40 at least, from what I can tell. So I should have the house to myself for about 3 hours and 20 minutes combined. 3 hours, 20 minutes combined, if not longer, if they don't decide to go out and get something to eat, because, well, not something to eat, but something to drink. Now my mom could go out and get something to drink with them, but she swore, because here's what she did, because she goes to church. One of the things that churches do is they do these little Lenin things, like swear off certain treats that you give yourself and everything, like little Lenin things. Little, like a Lenin, if you will. You have to swear off what you spend probably more money on sometimes outside of bills and groceries and everything. And my mom swore off Starbucks for 40 days. So come Easter, she should be able to get Starbucks again. But if they go out and do something like get something to eat or get something to drink, she's going to have to swear off Starbucks or at least say, hey, can we go to this place because it's not Starbucks and I swore it off or something like that. We'll have to see. I mean, I got her a bottle of Starbucks, a coffee, if you will. She hasn't touched yet, and it's still in the fridge. But anyway, getting back to what I was saying though, it all depends on that because I'm also thinking that it's the last day before spring break, essentially. But like I said in the update video, the spring break one, basically it's the unofficial start because they're going along with whatever the school district does. So since the school district in Livermore has Friday off, before spring break in that area, because I think maybe parent teacher conferences or something, a workshop, teacher workshops. Um, the preschool, the Head Start that my mom works at, also will have that day off. So she'll be able to start, her and her fellow teachers will be able to start the vacation, spring break vacation, a lot earlier than usual. And thank you for the compliment, David. Really appreciate that. But yeah, they'll be able to start the vacation a lot earlier than usual. Now, what that means for Friday, oh not Friday, but for Thursday is I could get home about 4:41 or 4:45 if things work out correctly, but then she could show up moments later because they would have been let out early. So all I'm going to say right now is come Thursday, is come the next 3 days, I'll try to do something, in between the time I might have, but you know, but I'm not. I can't promise a lot. That's all I'm going to say. I can't promise a lot, but I will do what I can to give you content, and that's really all that matters. That's all that really matters. Um, as far as the rest of the channel goes, I did say I'm going to do a new fan vid. I got a fan vid, PMV, possibly coming. It's called Destiny. It's going to be the song by Jim Brickman, Destiny, Jordan Hill, I believe. Yeah, Jim Brickman, Jordan Hill. And I'm going to try to make that possibly Sparity related, more Prosperity focused, Spike and Rarity focused. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But I plan to do that. I do got some videos I want to do today and upload today. If not today, I'll try to do, I'll try to upload for tomorrow so you guys can have some content during that time. Also, as far as live streams are concerned, going into the following week, like I said previously, it's going to take a little working around the situation, because the hours are pretty much going to be the same as they are this week, a little bit. Not too much, but they'll be a little different, but not too much. But it's going to be a situation to where the only way I might be able to get you guys content, during, let's say, my work days, is if I take an earlier bus to work, wait about an hour or so, and before I clock in, and try to do some, material there on my work at my work, not inside the store, but outside the store, weather depending. So that'll be the plan right there, to basically do something content-wise while I'm waiting to clock in by going to work early, so I can at least get some stuff out to you guys there. As far as like when she's off and I'm off, because we're both going to be off on Friday and Monday, of this week and the following week and such, as well as off on the this Monday and the following Monday, not just today but next Monday too, and even the day after Easter, Resurrection Sunday that is. We'll both be off at that time. So the question is, how do I work around that? And basically the way I'm going to work around it is kind of how I worked around it on Sunday. And the way I worked around it on Sunday was I got my tripod, which is under my desk right now. I placed it on my table put my camera on it, my Canon camcorder, if you will, and I started to record. I started to record, and I did my I did the 5 questions that need to be answered video. So I did that. No, actually, that wasn't on Sunday. That was on Saturday. That was on Saturday, actually, when I was off. And then on Sunday, I waited till she went and till she was at work, not at work, but she went to church, and then she went to Walmart, and then got me and her something from Subway there. I took that time to basically do, as you saw, 3 audio videos that I did. I did 3 audio videos, of course, those being the video on leaks saying that a Disney Smash Brothers inspired platform fighting game is, coming. Then, of course, on Mr. Internet Man Strikes Again was his recent collab. And then my reply to Sable Sparks Unicorn Wars video, in my opinion, that this is the heavy metal of the new of this decade and century, if you will. So basically I do try to find opportunity to do things to kind of work my magic, if you will, to try to make things happen. But it just basically it just takes a lot of well, I wouldn't say a lot of thought, but it takes strategic planning, if you will, to kind of work around the situation. And one of the other ways I work around it, as I've mentioned before in my videos, is I basically have to probably get up early, before my mom, if I'm off and everything, on the same day she is, and do some videos then before she fully wakes up. That way you guys got some content, and then if not, I'll just do like a PMV or do a game footage or stuff like that you guys can watch later on. That's basically how things are going to work out. Starting on Friday, and Friday and Saturday and Sunday and Monday. That's how things are going to work for a bit. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, not just this week, but next week, going to work on probably, leaving the house early because she'll be on break, leaving the house early, doing some, and then going to my job, waiting to clock in, and by doing so, bide my time, probably get something to eat, hopefully, and then basically work my magic, if you will, and provide some kind of content for you guys. And then, like I said, just go from there and try to, just go from there and see what happens. And again, like I said, come the days that I will be off along with her, I might have to try to get up early and do some stuff before she wakes up. So again, it's going to take some planning. It's going to take some strategic planning and all that, but not too hard because I've done this before. I've worked around this before, and I also basically gotta probably if she's home and I want to do something like during the day, I gotta wait till she's busy. Like maybe she's planting some plants. Like yesterday, I could have done something, but I didn't because she was planting some plants that she bought at Walmart. So, so yeah, it's just again, it's just one of the situations of finding the opportunity when you can, and I'm just gonna go and do what I've done before and see what happens. And like I said, probably one of the best options for me, anyway, is to go and essentially basically uh, leave the house early, go to work early, wait to clock in, and then and then while I'm waiting, just do some material there for you guys at that time. I know that sounds a little ramblish and confusing. I do apologize, but that's basically what's planned for the channel starting on Friday and going forward. Basically, probably getting up early, doing something before she wakes up, and then going from there and, maybe doing some other things outside of on camera stuff or live stream stuff, to provide you guys with some content. Now, with that said, let's get on to the vlog portion, if you will. Um, First of all, not really much going on. My mom did go to my sister's, not yesterday, but she went on Saturday because my niece and my great niece was going to be over there, and she likes to go over there or at least be told when my great niece is going to be over there. She likes to go over there to see her great granddaughter because you don't see her as much because my niece and her fiance live in Modesto, and my mom's not the kind of person that likes to drive the Modesto route, even if the day's nice and clear and all that, because of what's happened in the past. She's had some experiences that I've mentioned before here on the channel, along with me, that basically has pretty much put her in a situation to where she's like, yeah, I'm not going to do these things anymore. I'm not going to put myself at risk anymore when it comes to basically doing these drives from Modesto to Patterson and Newman and all that. She's just like, hey, I'll go to Patterson. If I get a ride with your older sister, that's good enough for her, you know. Um, but yeah, basically she went over there, like I said, on Saturday. I could have gone, but I decided just to stay home and, relax, have time to myself, which allowed me to do a few things as well um, that I did. It allowed me to do a few things as well. Basically, I didn't. I mean, the thing I did do mostly was the game stuff, and then of course I just waited till yesterday to do the audio stuff when she was at church and coming in at Walmart and all that. Excuse me. So so yeah, basically, you know, basically that's what happened on Saturday. I mean, Saturday we went and well, okay. So what happened on Saturday, and I've talked about this before, is we went and we did our taxes. We went and did our taxes and everything, and thank God I don't have to owe this year. Last year I had to owe, and think everybody watching this or listening to this knows how much of a pain in the behind owing is, depending on why you have to owe. I mean, the previous year I didn't have my medical set up, my government, my Medi-Cal, whatever, with the government. So my health care, if you will. So I ended up owing and had to pay that back. Thankfully, I don't have to owe this year, but my return basically, you know, I'm getting back from the federal is not what I think it could be, and that hopefully can change as we move forward into next year. But yeah, my state's a lot more than my federal. I'll put it that way. My state's a lot more than my federal, and hopefully, like I said, that'll increase over time. The only thing that ever confuses me, and I think it even confuses the tax preparer or the tax preparer, or preparer or whatever they're called, the tax preparer. I think the one thing that always confuses them, and I know I'm not alone in this here on YouTube or even anywhere else where you're able to monetize, is when you get a tax paper back from them, and basically it's listed as royalties. It's like, well, how? It's like, why do you need this if you're not going to get anything back from it? That's what really kind of kind of makes me wonder, like, what is going on here? It's like, if you're sending us this for tax reasons and they're going to put it in as royalties, then why aren't we getting anything back, right? It doesn't make any sense in my opinion. But maybe myself and my text preparer, me and my mom's text preparer at H&R Block, maybe we're missing something. I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, though, like I said, my state is a little bit bigger than my federal, so at least I'm getting something back in total that's going to hopefully help out. And who knows, maybe I'll get it when I get paid one of these weeks. Like if I get paid within the time frame that I'm supposed to get it, that'll help out in the long run too. Um, okay, like I said, we came home afterwards. We got Burger King basically afterwards to treat ourselves. And here's what's interesting, and this was on Saturday. Here's what's interesting. My mom said she wanted a Whopper with bacon, right? Like, put bacon on the side and everything. And the lady that took the order, it sounded like she understood what my mom was saying. But as soon as we got home, my mom looked in the bag and saw that we didn't just have, the order that we asked for, but we had an extra Whopper. Yeah, we had an extra regular Whopper, and we're like, what is this? My mom's like, what is this? And then she looks at the receipt and notices that there is a individual regular Whopper, you know, added there to the receipt. You know, basically added on to the total. And my mom's like, no wonder it was so high. You know, no wonder it's so high. So what happened is that she was going to save that for later, but then my older sister and her fiance called up and said, "Hey, you know, your granddaughter and your great granddaughter are going to be down here today for a barbecue. Would you, or to visit? You know, would you like to come down?" And she was like, "Okay, no problem." And she told me that since I didn't want to go, she told me, you know, you could have the burger and the fries that we that's left over, or at least have the Whopper that was given to us pretty much as an unexpected bonus, for dinner, which I ended up eating. So anyway, yeah, we treated ourselves to that, and like I said, got an unexpected bonus, even because a bonus of extra Whopper, which pretty much is like my mom's like, this shouldn't cost as much because she's bought Burger King before. She looks at the receipt like, this shouldn't cost as much, and yet, here it is. It, pretty much is a little bit more than she expected, and it's all because the girl who I figured, understood what she was saying, put bacon on the side or add bacon to the burger, basically said, okay, I'll give you a regular Whopper and a regular Whopper with bacon. It's like, hello? She can't eat that much, in one sitting unless she saves it. So, yeah, it's like seriously, she can't do that. She can't really do that. Anyway, though, anyway though, after that, on Sunday. So after that, on Sunday, like I said, she goes to church. I have the opportunity to do the 3 audio recordings that I did, that went up yesterday, and also now you can find on BWRESTLEMANIA discussions at all your favorite audio podcast platforms, except for Pandora. But more specifically, you can find it at Spotify. Would be greatly appreciated if you can go there and listen to that. Um, but yeah, it gave me the opportunity to do those, and like I said, she went to church, went to Walmart, got some things, got some plants, and then came home, watched the Giants and the A's, which is the first of their preseason finale games that they do every year. And then, like during that, she was, like I said, she was basically planting her plants and everything in the process. She was planting her plants in the process, if you will. So yeah, she was having she was having some fun. She was having her own little fun during this time and everything. Or during a day that during this time, basically a day that she would normally go from church and over to my older sister's, but she kind of pretty much covered that on Saturday. Um, Now, as far as I go, work's been great. I got a compliment on the day. I think it was it Thursday. Yeah, the day before I, was off for the next few days, including today. I got a compliment from a lady, from my team lead, who has the same name, similar name as my mom, and everything, similar, like I said. And she said basically along the lines of, "I think you're doing it. I want to compliment." Basically, she said, "Brian, I just want to let you know you're doing it. I think you're doing a great job now." She says, "I know it's hard to have to abide by these certain rules, which is understandable because with certain retail jobs and everything, you have to basically abide by certain rules, and how you basically have to do things a certain way and everything. Whether you want to or not, it's one of those situations." So she kind of gave me a compliment there, which made my day and everything. And then, of course, and that was Thursday. But then, of course, on Thursday, the Turlock Transit bus decides to screw up on me. And I have the Transit app, for it. So I'm looking at the Transit app, and I'm looking at the fact that it's got 2-3 minutes before it comes to my location to pick me up. But instead, it's taking its time. It has taken the longest 3 to 2 minutes to 1 minute I've ever seen. And I'm thinking, what's the deal? So I end up basically on that day missing my bus, the start bus that would take me back to Newman. And that's what I was talking about earlier about the whole bus situation. Today, because, well, first of all, go back last week, as I've mentioned, I think previously in a video. Uh, Basically, what happened on Tuesday, last Tuesday, and then this past Thursday, was the bus didn't the Turlock Transit bus known as Gear 2, that's GER2, that, one of it that basically, it kind of goes in a circle, and one of it stops when it's heading back to the transit center, the station is, in front of Chili's, in front of the Chili's restaurant, or at least on the left side of the on the left side of the Chili's restaurant. So so basically, what happened is that on Tuesday it was late picking me up. So instead of getting me home around 4:41, so I can get here by 4:45, it got me home an hour later, or at least it caused me to get home an hour later. And then on Thursday, it caused me to miss my bus entirely, and I couldn't get Lyft, I couldn't get Uber and everything. Lyft mainly because they don't like to. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a time. I don't know if it's a time thing with the car, with utilizing the same card or something. I don't know. But I couldn't do that. I couldn't afford Uber, so I had to call my mom. And even though I could tell she didn't like the idea of having to come get me, she still went and did it because it was either that or I'd have to spend what money I had, to rent a hotel somewhere or whatever, But thankfully that didn't happen because she basically went and got me because the Turlock Transit bus screwed up. So what I did today before I started this live stream is I went to the Turlock Transit website, and they have a section there for comments. So, on the front page, on the bottom of the front page on the left side. So I put in my complaint, my comment about what happened, and then I go to another section of the website. I think it's the on-demand site or something, and I see that there's another one down there, and it basically on this on-demand site, it shows like, what buses to connect, what are the services to connect to, and one of the first ones it says is Stan RTA. So I go down to that, and I basically comment on there. I basically copy and paste the comment I did on the first page in the comment section, and do it and basically paste it onto this comment section with my email and name and all that, as well as my cell phone, so they can text me or contact me with any information. And then I noticed there's the email. So what do? I go to my Gmail. I take the message, the note that I put together, and, you know, um, copy and basically sent on the original comment section on the main page, as well as on the on-demand page, which kind of, like I said, explains like what other services that Turlock Transit connects to. I took that and I went to my Gmail, copy and pasted it into the body of the email that I was going to send. Then I went back to the transit center website, copied and then copied the email for the website, and then pasted it in the recipient section of the email, and then put into the subject title, issue with, the bus, back on, last Tuesday and Thursday. And I basically mentioned the days, the dates of when it happened, as well as the times as to when it happened, and everything. So hopefully somebody reads those two comments things, with my complaints on there, as well as somebody reads the email and they talk to the person that's doing the bus route and say, hey, look, you can't stall anymore. You need to be on time, no matter what the circumstance. Because it's going to not only screw me up, it's going to screw a lot of other people up in the long run. It's what it's going to do. So hopefully, they'll address this issue, and tomorrow I won't have to worry about it. Because if I do, I'm just going to have to walk down to the transit center. I hate to say that. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, that was an interesting thing to go through and all that. So my bus troubles are not done just yet, but hopefully they will be now. Hopefully. But yeah, outside of that, outside of that, of course, on Friday, had time to myself, as you all know, did the TGIF live stream that you know of. That you're probably thinking, man, that was kind of a weird live stream that that I did. And yeah, in a sense, it was. I'm not going to say it wasn't or anything because when I did it, basically, I knew I was going to get interrupted, and that's why I told you guys, during that, just like I told you here with this one, there's going to probably be interruptions, and that one was a long interruption to the point that I had to chapter break it down to the point that I even chapter braked where the update was and everything. So you guys could skip over that into the next subjects and everything. And hello to Ryan Jr. Ryan, thank you for joining me in the live chat. But yeah, I did that on Friday, and then of course, like I said, Saturday and Sunday did what I did there as well. But anyway, though, guys, that's pretty much what's been going on with work and what's been going on with the buses and stuff like that, as well as channel update wise. Give you an idea of how things are going to work out. Like I said, basically it's going to probably come down to the fact that next week, not this week, but next week, I will have to leave early to catch a bus to go to my job early and maybe use the time before I clock in to provide some content for you guys that I might upload during that time. I might live stream during that time or something. We'll have to see, wait and see. As well as when I'm home, try to work around certain times, like get up early maybe and do something, or maybe just do some game footage and stuff, and maybe even some PMVs, fan vids, if you will, to buy the time, while she is off, on the same day that I'll be off, on the same days I'll be off, and all that. So yeah, that's what's going on, channel update wise, and just vlog wise, letting you know what's been going on outside of what I'm doing right now. But with that said, though, guys, at 42 minutes, let's talk about the topics we are going to talk about today. So these are the topics we are going to discuss. Number one, and my finger hit the mic there, I do apologize, but number one, BlockBuster Video making a comeback over a decade after Shutdown? We'll talk about that. Two, wrestling events going on during WrestleMania week this week. We'll talk about that. Number three, TikTok hearing turned into a circus. Yes, this is the one that's getting talked about a lot. Number four, more on Victoria Alonso getting fired, and now she's threatening to sue Disney. Number five, divide over whether CM Punk will return to AEW All Elite Wrestling soon. Number six, Vince McMahon reimbursed WWE with $17.6 million. But does that mean he's in the clear and back fully? We'll talk about that. Again, number six topic, Vince McMahon reimbursed WWE with $17.4 million. But does that mean he's in the clear and back fully? We'll talk about that. Number eight, will Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and always open the door for other nostalgic shows, animated or live action, to make a return on services like Netflix? And then number six, this has been talked about a little bit, not much, but it is out there. Is PlayStation planning a PS6 console to be released soon, while PS5 hasn't even hit its stride? So yeah, we're going to talk about that, guys, and everything with these topics. So basically, grab some popcorn and everything, grab your favorite drink, and let's get started. Again, I do apologize for any interruptions. So with that said, we're going to start at 44 minutes 5 seconds with the first topic, BlockBuster Video making a comeback over a decade after Shutdown. So in case you guys don't know about that, basically, over the past several weeks, or at least the past couple of weeks, the BlockBuster Video website has become active again. Yes. Now, the people that own the BlockBuster license, who I think, let me double check here for a second, guys. I do apologize for any lag. But yes, basically, oh, it's Viacom. Okay, Viacom owns BlockBuster. That's what they're saying here. That oh no, it's Dish Network. Is it? And hold on for a sec, guys. Be right back. I told you there'd be an interruption. Hello? Nothing? Okay, sorry about that, guys. I'm gonna probably have to stamp that too. Um, yeah. How long did that take? Well, yeah, I do apologize for that. But like I said, that's what happens when you live with family. You have to you deal with this kind of stuff. You deal with family. You deal with your. Well, but can we rewind that? All right. What I'm trying to say is that's what happens when you live with family. You live with your parents, your siblings. You're gonna get interruptions like that, and it's a good thing. It's fine. It's good. It's not a problem and everything. It's just one of those ordeals that's like, seriously, I know everything's fine, but I get it. She just wants me to know what's going on and everything. And she's okay. She just I'm not gonna say, but she's fine. She's just had a little knee bump, if you will, and that's about it. And that's about it. So anyway, what was I? Oh yes, I was trying to figure out who owns Blockbuster now. We were on the first topic. Like I said, probably have to do some. Probably have to do basically, you know, um, we'll probably have to do like I said, probably have to do a little bit of a mini chapter like there, basically like say phone call and then that. So anyway, well, was I? Oh yes, yes, of course. Trying to figure out who owns Blockbuster now. Um, so anyway, basically, Blockbuster um, is making a comeback. Apparently, Dish Network, who owns Blockbuster, not Viacom but Dish Network, um, they are making a comeback apparently because basically, according to Wikipedia, we'll go back there again. According to Wikipedia, and everybody was talking about this. According to Wikipedia and everything, as I try to make sure my headset is adjusted, okay. But basically, according to Wikipedia, I can find it here to present. It says on March 23rd, the Blockbuster webpage was reactivated with the cryptic message, "We are working on rewinding your movie," possibly foreshadowing a new business venture. Now, what's interesting about that is the news that came out courtesy of Medium. That's right, Medium. And what that means, media, what that means for media and everything, what that medium, I should say, not media, but media, just almost lost my train of thought there, I do apologize. But what that means, anyway, according to what media said, is essentially, Blockbuster. Yeah, and it says it right here. Blockbuster, we are working on rewinding your movie. So yeah, according to Medium on Facebook, um, the what's going on is apparently word is that they are potentially opening again. It's potential, okay. And there is a Blockbuster Express in Gustine, DVD store in. Oh, it's permanently closed. I was gonna say, huh, what? I'd be like, hey, I'll go to Gustine. you know. Um, but yeah, apparently, according to the medium, um, going to the media and everything, and I'm trying to find out. Okay, so apparently there's going to be a Blockbuster bar, pop-up bar, opening in Los Angeles. Um, in Okay, so let's see here. It says, well, this is actually last year, the fake one, but Okay, that's something that it's a bar that popped up and everything. But apparently there is word going around, according to the medium, um, going to medium and all that, that Blockbuster is going to be opening some locations, here in California, um, mostly Los Angeles and San Diego. Now, this is according to Medium. It says opening 5 new locations in the Los Angeles and San Diego areas. Now, this is from Medium.com. So, Medium.com, it says, that's right, folks. Blockbuster Video has risen from the ashes of obsolete. Okay. According to Medium.com, this is what they said. They said, that's right, folks. Blockbuster Video has risen from the ashes of obsolescence, obsoleteness and announced the grand reopening of 5 new locations in the Los Angeles and San Diego areas. The flagship show is set to occupy the prime real estate at the intersection of Sunset and Crescent Heights in West Hollywood. The iconic blue and yellow logo will once again grace the streets, with locals already buzzing with excitement. It says, with streaming platforms facing ongoing challenges and growing consumer discontent, Blockbuster has recognized the nostalgic appeal and rising demand for physical media. The once ambitious video rental giant is banking on the notion that people are ready to embrace their DVD and Blu-ray collections once more. Hollywood local Jimmy Loco couldn't be more thrilled about the return of Blockbuster. He says, I'm sick of all the streaming, man. I don't know anyone that watches Netflix anymore. It's all about the Blu-ray. Just last week I bought the Mercury Rising DVD with Bruce Willis. That was magical. Locals like Jimmy are eager to rent again, anticipating, the thrills and everything. Let's see. Oh, never mind. It's a joke. It looks like, let's see. Let's see. Okay, so medium is a joke reference. Never mind. Got me there. So it got me there. But yeah, though it does seem like Blockbuster might be making, uh, might be making a comeback. I mean, everybody is talking about it. San Diego 5 is talking about it and everything. You know, so despite that, fakeness right there that even I fell for, so I do apologize for that. It does look like they are trying to make a comeback here, yes. But here's the thing, outside of this fake medium deal, if you will, which, you know what, now that I think about it, there's got to be truth to that. Because why would they be, talking about, Los Angeles, San Diego areas, in certain locations, locales, if there wasn't truth to it, you know? So even though it's a joke, and they're saying, at this point, none of what this article is saying is true, and everything. You see, it says, let's see, who will emerge victorious in the entertainment? Only time will tell. But as of now, none of this article is true at all. Ahaha, very funny. Um, yeah, comedy. So okay, it's Matt Allen, known for working on four comedies like For Christmas and all that. Okay, so he got us there. Big haha, Matt. Big haha. But still, I think he probably knows something that he's not letting on about. Like he probably has heard stuff, but he can't really say. So he's just going off and saying, I wonder, if it's going to make a comeback, like where would it go? Like where would it be located at? So I think that's why he did this little thing on medium.com to kind of see how invested people would be, and also probably to look at the potential locations in the Los Angeles, San Diego areas that could house a blockbuster and everything in. Again, even though it's a joke, even though it's a false, fake joke, um, there's truth to it. There's got to be some truth to it, not full truth. I say there's probably about 15% truth to it or 20% truth to it. Well, the 80% is BS. So I'll give it to you, Matt Allen. You got me. You got me, and I'm sure you got a lot of other people as well with that on the medium. But yeah, the website is up. The website is up right now. Um, asking, basically saying we are working on rewinding your movie. So, you know, when you look at that, and you're wondering, okay, why would Dish Network, of all people, of all people, want to, do this? Why are they resurrecting this? I mean, yes, the Blockbuster series on Netflix, the comedy series, is a huge hit, and obviously that has, driven up more nostalgic interest in seeing a return of this colossal giant. This once colossal giant in video entertainment. I mean, I have a lot of memories of Blockbuster growing up. Heck, when I came back here, you know, we had a heck when I came back here in 2007, we had a Blockbuster in Patterson. We had a Blockbuster in Patterson, and that's where I got my Beatles Rock Band set. That's where I got some of my movies that I currently own on DVD. Heck, some of the DVD trays that contain those movies, when you open them up on the top, say Blockbuster, and some of them have the Blockbuster little tag under them. After you've bought them, and I still have my card somewhere. I just got to find it. But yeah, you know, basically, I grew up on Blockbuster. Who didn't? I mean, me and my sisters, we originally got Tiny Toons How I Spent My Summer Vacation at Blockbuster. We bought it there. You know, so we have a lot of fond memories. Gaming, buying games there, buying, renting, well, not buying, but renting movies there and everything, renting games, and they had competition. There's no doubt. They had competition from a national standpoint, like, West Coast Video, not West Coast, but Hollywood Video and so on. And they had local regional competition, like, Hastings. They had local regional competition, like, Ultimate Video in Hayward and such. So they had the competition there. They had the competition there. But but still, despite that competition, regional and local wise and nationwide, they thrived. They continued on, and basically they continued on because, despite some of the rules and limitations, they had a stack's worth. They had basically a wall's worth of movies. That movies and games that you can rent, that you could get access to. And I was glad about that. I was happy about that. So to see that Blockbuster Video, courtesy of Dish Network, who currently owns them, could potentially be making a comeback in some capacity, that that's a good sign. But the question obviously is, though, um, if there is something to this, what is it going to be like? Are we going to get stores again? Are we going to get stores to where we could basically, go to these stores, go to these stores and rent and buy movies and games and maybe even consoles? Are we going to be able to do that again? Is this going to be Dish Network's, answer to the streaming wars? Is Blockbuster now going to be the new streaming service provided by Dish Network? Is that what's going to happen? You know, to the point that outside of having Netflix, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Hulu, Amazon, Paramount Plus, Peacock, you name it. Outside of all that, is Blockbuster going to join the fray? Is they going to join the fray as Dish Network's equivalent, or not equivalent, but their answer to Netflix, to the Netflix streaming service? Are they going to be the answer to Disney Plus? Is Blockbuster going to be the answer to HBO Max? We don't know. We don't know, but apparently something is going on. It's gotten everybody's attention from CBS to Fox to ABC, NBC, CNN, Fox News, you name it. It's got people talking. It's got people talking, but the question is, what is it all leading to? You know, what is it all leading to in the future? I mean, we know that one of the things that keeps Blockbuster alive is the last, as it's known right now, the last Blockbuster on Earth in Bend, Oregon. Yeah, if you want to have a nostalgic trip and say, "Hey, I'm in a Blockbuster mood," and you had the money to do it, you could drive all the way to freaking Bend, Oregon, to that Blockbuster, rent a movie, rent a game, go to a hotel, and basically hook up your Blu-ray player, your DVD player, whatever, your game system, spend the night in that location of Bend, Oregon, at that hotel, play your system, and then the next day, after you're done, after you played your game, watched your movie, whatever, after you're said and done, pack up, go to the Blockbuster in Bend, return the stuff, and head home, knowing, hey, at least the trip was worth it in your opinion. Because you got to do all this. You got to do something that nobody thought you would ever do again. And is the location in Bend, Oregon, the reason, along with the show on Netflix, is this the reason why interest in Blockbuster is at an all-time high? Is this why Dish Network is saying, hey, let's reactivate Blockbuster Video? I mean, there's got to be something to it. There's got to be something to it that, none of us are aware of. None of us are aware of, but I guarantee you this. If it happens, I look at three possibilities. Okay? I look at a Blockbuster Video that is Dish Network's answer to Netflix, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Peacock, Amazon, Amazon Prime, if you will. I see them being the answer to that. I see a Blockbuster Video being resurrected, and this is the second option. I see Dish Network, resurrecting a Blockbuster Video that's the equivalent of Vudu and, parts of Amazon Prime and all that, where you purchase the movie or you rent it. So I can see them being an online purchase and rental site, if you will. Or third, I see them doing a combination of two things. I see them doing I see them doing the online stuff, which would be, again, which to me would be like, basically a streaming service, and everything, a streaming service, along with being, along with being also a place where you can rent or buy digital movies and everything. And secondly, and this again is all the third option. Secondly, I see them basically also opening physical stores in the most populated areas. And that's what I see. Or in the more demanding areas. That's what I see. So, again, the only way I see Blockbuster making a comeback if there's if Dish Network is serious about doing this. If Dish Network is serious about doing this, okay, this is what I see. The three options. Either they become basically Dish Network's answer to Disney Plus, Amazon, Amazon Prime Video, HBO Max, Netflix, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Hulu, Apple TV. I see them basically being the equivalent of that, for Dish Network, being basically a streaming service. Secondly, I see them being mostly like Voodoo, where they're basically, online service where you can buy a movie and everything from them. You can buy a movie or rent a movie, digitally and watch it, right then and there once you rent it or buy it. Or I see them being a combination of not just those two, where kind of like let's say an Amazon Prime, if you will, where on Amazon Prime you can purchase, and like Apple TV too, but on Amazon Prime you could purchase basically the movies or rent the movies, but you can also watch original programming and stuff or stuff that's licensed to Amazon. I could see them being a hybrid of those two in the third option, along with some physical stores being opened as well. So again, the three options I look at are it's either going to be Dish Network's answer to Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max and so on. It's either going to be secondly, it's either going to be like Voodoo, where you just and movies anywhere where you buy the movie or rent the movie, digitally and watch it, on their platform, on their platform and everything. Or third, I see them, combining the first two together, kind of like let's say Apple TV and Amazon Plus and Prime Video, Amazon Prime Video. I see them doing that, but I also see them along with combining those first two options, and everything to be like a Prime Video, to be equivalent of Prime Video and Apple TV. I see them also opening up several stores, nationwide. But we'll have to see. But yeah, it seems that there's something going on here with Blockbuster, thanks to Dish Network. But what it could be, we don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the live chat. What do you guys think? And hello, Looney Microphone. Nice to see you. But let me know what your thoughts are. Excuse me there. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this? What do you think Dish Network has planned? Do you think they're going to make Blockbuster Video their answer to Netflix and Disney Plus and HBO Max, and sites like that? Do you think they're going to make them basically like Voodoo and Movies Anywhere, where you purchase, the movie or you rent the movie, to watch and everything? Or do you think it's going to be the third option where the first two options are combined together like a Prime Video and an Apple TV Plus, but also we get some physical stores opening up as well throughout the country? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? Heck, let's throw in a fourth option. I just thought about this. Because I work at Target, and Target has the Disney store, in their section. We have a Disney store section and everything. All Targets do, mostly, depending on the size of the Disney store they have in that section, and all that. And I do apologize. I don't know what happened there. It says no data, but now there's data. That was weird. But anyway, what if they become a little Blockbuster shoppy, within a store? What if Dish Networks, partners up with, let's say, because we know Macy's has Toys R Us, has the Toys R Us section in their stores. Like I said, in my job, we have a Disney store. What if, what if Dish Network teams up with Walmart? Think about that. What if they team up with Walmart and say, Walmart, we're going to give you Blockbuster. We're going to give you a little Blockbuster section to have all to your own and everything. Just think about that. That could happen. So again, there's a fourth option, along with the other three. Like I said, the first one I think probably, in my opinion, could be the most likely one, that they turn Blockbuster Video into a new streaming service, a la Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max, and so on. The second one, I see them, again, if that doesn't happen, I see them being like a Voodoo and a Movies Anywhere, where you buy and rent the films and watch them, where you and watch them on any platform you have that you can watch them on. Three, I see them combining the first two into one, like let's say Prime Video and Apple TV Plus, but also opening up, some physical stores, as well for people to walk in and look around and rent and shop and all that. But then fourth, I see maybe, them striking a deal with a retailer down the line, like let's say a Walmart, to add a little shop for them, similar, you know, similar to basically, Disney, Target having a Disney store and Macy's having Toys R Us. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below in the comments as well as in the live chat. Which of those four things do you think is most likely to happen? And yes, Looney Microphone, I knew it was you. Under the Bugs Bunny name, I know it was you. So, because I remember by the little icon there. But guys, let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. How do you feel about this? Which of the four options do you think is the most likely? Do you think it's a streaming service we're getting? Do you think it's more of a Voodoo Movies Anywhere like service we're going to get? Do you think it might be a hybrid of you know a hybrid like service, a la Prime Video and Apple TV Plus, along with the opening of some physical stores, around the country? Or do you think they're going? Or do you think Dish Network will make a deal with a retailer like Walmart and give them a little blockbuster store inside their own stores, like Target has Disney like the Disney stores inside Target, and Toys R Us stores inside Macy's? What are your thoughts? Let me know. Let me know which one of those four options you think is the most likely, to come out of this, because there's got to be something to this. There's got to be a reason Dish Network is doing this, and it just can't be because of, the popularity of the last blockbuster on Earth in Bend, Oregon, as well as the popularity of the series on Netflix. It's got to be something more, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Now, with that said, let me get something to eat here for something to drink, I should say, for a second. Okay. So, next up, number 2. And we're doing this at 78 minutes, 10 seconds. Number 2, wrestling events going on during WrestleMania week this week. That's right. In case you guys don't know, this is the final week before WrestleMania, the two-night event, which will begin this Saturday from SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. And of course, every year, except for the pandemic year, they have a lot of events taking place across the Los Angeles Inglewood area. And that's not just WWE, but there's a lot of indie feds, a lot of, major companies as well, like Impact and GCW and stuff. So a lot of them got stuff going on. And here we have a list. I'm not going to read off who's on it or anything like that, but this is a list of stuff that starts on Wednesday and goes all the way through next Monday. So, on Wednesday, the wrestling events that they will have will be Dark Arts Entertainment presents Monster Mania at 1 p.m. At the Don Cueto, if you will. Also at the Don Cueto, we have at 4 p.m. Pandemonium Pro Wrestling Best Damn Thing. And then at 8 p.m. we have Micromania Midget Wrestling at Whiskey A Go Go. Then also at 8 p.m. we have Violence and Suffering in SWA Puerto Rico Set the Tone at American Legion Post 241. Then also at 8 p.m. we have Relentless Wrestling Chaos in California at Don Cueto. Or I think that's what it's called. So, yeah, so the Don Cueto on this Wednesday, is going to have 1, 2, 3 events. They're going to have 3 events. So they're obviously going to change. They're not going to change rings or anything. They'll just use the same ring. They might change the aprons and all that, and maybe the turnbuckles, but that's it. All right. The non-wrestling events that will be going on that day at 7 p.m. Josh Barnett Pro and Catch Wrestling Seminar. At 7 p.m. at the Ukrainian Culture Center. 8 p.m. Uh, not Sam Mania with Sam Roberts at the Comedy Store. At 8 p.m. you will have Ringmaster Vince McMahon and the Unmasking of American Book launch party at Burbank Moose Lodge. And then 8 p.m. you'll have Arcade Mania at Blipsy Barcade. Then on Thursday, wrestling events will be at 11 a.m. Christmas. Okay, let me rewind that. Okay, Thursday, March 30th, starting at 11 a.m. in the morning, you will have Crimson Crown Wrestling Crimson Kingdom at the Florence Classic Hall. Also at 11 a.m., you'll have Santino Brothers Wrestling California Love at the Ukrainian Culture Center. And that's just the first page I printed out. At 2 p.m., you have Crimson Crown Wrestling Violent World at the Florence Classic Hall. 2 p.m. also, you'll have Circus. You have Circle 6, easy for me to say. 2 p.m. you'll have Circle 6 Queer Punk Outlaw at Knucklehead Hollywood. 3 p.m. you'll have Circle 6 Lindsay's Snow's Kaiju Cannabis Cup at Knucklehead Hollywood. At 4 p.m., Circle 6 Vinny Mansour's Pro Wrestling Combine at Knucklehead Hollywood. At 4 p.m., High Spots Mark Hitchcock Memorial Super Show at Globe Theater. 4 p.m., GCW's Josh Barnett's Bloodsport 9 at Ukrainian Culture Center. Let's see. Up next, okay. 5 p.m., Circle 6 Mama's Koger's Delicate Flowers at Knucklehead Hollywood. Let's see. Also at 5 p.m., you'll have All Caribbean Wrestling ACW Island Vibes at Common Space Brewery. Then at 6 p.m., you'll have Compton Mania. At 6 p.m., you'll have Compton Mania. Where are you from? Compton versus the World Outdoors at Can-Am Dental. Okay. 6 p.m. You have Circle 6 Hoodfoot presents Crosses and Caskets at Knucklehead Hollywood. You will have. Hold on, guys. Just scratching my ear there, or something. Not my ear, but scratching my hair there. Okay, at 6 p.m. Not 6 p.m., but at 7 p.m., Coast to Coast Wrestling Genesis at Tele-America Studios, Anaheim. 7 p.m., Empire Wrestling Federation and Los Angeles Wrestling. Jake the Snake Roberts flirting with Venom at Sheraton San Gabriel. Okay. It's got a lot going on this weekend. Nobody wants to be left out. Nobody wants to be left out there. Okay. 8 p.m. And again, I think this is on. Is this on Thursday? Yeah, it's on Thursday. So at 8 p.m. on Thursday, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling and Impact Wrestling Multiverse United at Globe Theater, sold out. We have at 8 p.m. DDT Goes Hollywood at Ukrainian Culture Center. 8 p.m. we have Lucha Prosuro Wrestling Return of the Dragon at Xander Sports Arena. 10 p.m. we have Circle 6 Valentine Vision at Knucklehead Hollywood. At 11 p.m. we have Circle 6 Minoru Suzuki's Karaoke at Knucklehead Hollywood. Excuse me. At 11:59 a.m. on that a.m. but at 11:59 p.m. 11:59 p.m. we have GCW Game Changer Wrestling for the Culture at the Ukrainian Center, and then also at 11:59 we have Early Morning Guy Steele's Early Morning Show at Secret Location. Okay. And then non-wrestling events on that day, you have at 1 p.m. QT Marshall Pro Wrestling Seminar at Telemerica Studios. 7 p.m. Circle 6 Iron On Wrestling with Gregory Iron at Knucklehead Hollywood. 8 p.m. you have the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast Live at El Singro Brewing Company. At 8 p.m. Whale Mania at the Novo. And then 8 p.m. you have FTR with Dax Hardwood Podcast taping at the Biltmore. Okay. Let's see. At 8 p.m. you have a magical homage to pro wrestling by Nigel McGuinness at Illusional Magic Lounge. 10:30 p.m. you have Hunkamania Comedy Show with Dolph Ziggler, Ryan Nemeth at the Comedy Store. And at 11 p.m. you have Circle 6 Manu Suzuki's Karaoke at Knucklehead Hollywood. That's a lot going on Thursday. Obviously, they planned it around spring break. Obviously, they planned it around spring break. Let me check something, guys. Okay, just making sure you guys can still hear me. You guys can still hear me, right? Just let me know and everything. I think you guys can still hear me. Check my thing here. Yeah. You guys can still hear me. Just had to check my TV there. Alright, so on Friday, March 31st, the day before WrestleMania, we have at 11 a.m. GCW Jimmy Lloyd's Degenerate. Okay, on Friday, March 31st, the day before WrestleMania, we have at 11 a.m. GCW Jimmy Lloyd's Degeneration F at Ukrainian Center. Ukrainian Culture Center, that is. At 12 p.m., we have Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling live at live in Los Angeles at Globe Theater. That's right. You have at 12 p.m. on March 31st, you have Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling live in Los Angeles at Globe Theater. Then at 12 p.m., Circle 6 Jake Chris Fire Starters at Knucklehead Hollywood. Then at 1 p.m., Circle 6 Zachary Wentz Treehouse of Dreams at Knucklehead Hollywood. Then at 2 p.m., Circle 6 at 2 p.m., Circle 6 AJ Grace Power Hour at Knucklehead Hollywood. Then at 3 p.m., DDT vs. GCW at Ukrainian Culture Center. At 3 p.m., Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping, at Ella America Studios. At 3 p.m., Circle 6 No Peace Underground at Knucklehead Hollywood. 4 p.m., you have Ring of Honor Super Card of Honor at the Galen Center and the campus of USC. 4 p.m. you have Prestigious Wrestling Nervous Breakdown at the Globe Theater. At 5 p.m. you will have WWE SmackDown in the Hall of Fame ceremony at the Crypto.com Arena. Alright. Circle 6 at 5 p.m. At 5 p.m. at Circle 6 you have SVN at Knucklehead Arena. 6 p.m. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV Taping 2 at Tele-America Studios. 6 p.m. Real Deal Wrestling WrestleMania at Hazy Studios. 7:30 p.m. Millennium Pro Wrestling MPW Mania at Millennium Wrestling Academy. 8 p.m. GCW Joey Janela's Spring Break 7 at the Ukrainian Culture Center. 8 p.m. Russell Crowe Wrestling, WrestleMania 3 at Burbank Moose Lodge. Let's see, it's a comedy wrestling show. 9 p.m. Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 3 at Tele America Studios. 11 p.m. No Fear City Murder Mania at Super Chief Art Gallery. And 11:59 p.m. I should say, at 11:59 p.m. GCW Emo fight at Ukrainian Culture Center. Then the non-wrestling events for that day are at 1 p.m. Wrestling for Sale pop-up merch with Cheap Heat, Stash Pages, Matt Bovington at Button Mash. 8 p.m. The Gay Young Classic at Redline. It's 8 p.m. Straight out of WrestleCon, their after-party variety show at Globe Theater. And 11 p.m. Undertaker One Dead Man show at the Novo. And then Saturday, the day of WrestleMania, we have this. Are you ready? Are you ready? And let me get some water. Not water, but some soda. Oh, to make sure I'm ready. That's better. To make sure I'm ready. So, on the day of WrestleMania, Saturday, April 1st, wrestling events are at 10 a.m. at the Crypto Arena. WWE NXT Stand and Deliver. That's right, NXT Stand and Deliver at the Crypto Arena at 10 a.m. At 11 a.m., GCW's Effie's Big Gray... At 11 a.m., GCW Effie's Big Gay Brunch 6, LA at Ukrainian Culture Center. 1 p.m., Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 4 at Tele America Studios. At 5 p.m., WWE WrestleMania 39 Saturday, Night 1 at SoFi Stadium. 10 p.m., GCW Gringo Locos The World on Lucha 2 at the Ukrainian Culture Center. 11 p.m., Circle 6, Barroom Blitz at Knucklehead Hollywood. And then the non-wrestling events for that day will be at 11 a.m., the Busted Open WrestleMania Party at Whiskey A Go-Go. 1:30 p.m., Tailgate Party at the Tailgate Village. And then 9 p.m., WrestleMania 3 Goes Hollywood at Bitmore. And then on Sunday, April 2nd, day 2, night 2 of WrestleMania, we have before then for wrestling events at 12:30 p.m. second wrestling mitzvah. Okay, let me reread that. At 12:30 p.m. on night day 2 of WrestleMania, wrestling events are at 12:30 p.m. the second wrestling mitzvah mania at Temple Beth Aim. That's right. It's the second Wrestling Mitzvah Mania at Temple Beth Aim. And it's going to have Cole Cabana, Lisa Marie, Ian Vaughn, Victoria, QT Marshall, Jack Cartwheel, Billy Starks, Royce Isaacs, and Brian Zane of Wrestling with Regret. I will put that in there because he will be part of that. So yeah, 12:30 p.m. on Sunday, April 2nd, the second Wrestling Mitzvah Mania at Temple Beth AM. At 1 p.m., we have Coast to Coast Wrestling TV taping number 5 at Tele America Studios. And then to close it off, we have at 5 p.m. Night 2 WrestleMania 39 Sunday at SoFi Stadium. And then the non-wrestling events we have Mania Club Tailgate at 11 a.m. Then, at 12 p.m., we have the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame at Bitmore, which would include which has the inductees of Christopher Daniels, Cheerleader Melissa, Jimmy Jacobs, Mike Modest, and Excalibur. That's the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame at Bitmore. And then at 10:30 p.m., the The lapsed fan goes North Hollywood at the Comedy Chateau. The Comedy Chateau. And then to close it out on Monday, April 3rd, Monday Night Raw at the Crypto Arena. And it all starts tonight, though, with Monday Night Raw as well, I think, in the Southern California area. I think. But yeah, that's what's going on for WrestleMania week, starting this week, starting tonight with the Go Home Show, with the Raw Go Home Show to Mania, and then continuing on, like I said, starting on Wednesday with the non-wrestling events, but WWE with the non-WWE events, I should say. The non-WWE events, it continues on Wednesday, but it starts tonight, continues tomorrow with NXT, and then, like I said, for the non-WWE events that you'll be attending, if you're there, you will basically have all this to really enjoy and take part in if you can afford to do it, which I'm sure if you are a die-hard wrestling fan and you've been saving up for this moment, especially in that area of Los Angeles, Inglewood, and Southern California, I think you will be, happy with what you will take part in. And there's a lot going on. Again, here's the thing. There's a lot of wrestlers that are part of these events that are going to be wrestling more than once that day for different promotions. I mean, Speedball Mike Bailey, within the span, from what I understand, within the span of 2 to 4 hours, is going to be wrestling not one, not two, but 3 matches for 3 different shows. And that's saying something. You got to give credit to the guy there. Drinking some Pepsi, but yeah, got to give credit to the guy there. But I guarantee you, a lot of these venues are going to be like, man, when can we take these things out? Like the Don Cueto, or whatever it is, the Don Cueto, whatever it's called, it's going to have wrestling, at least I think, for one day, it looks like. It looks like it's going to have wrestling for one day, and that's going to be on Wednesday. And that's Dark Arts, Pandemonium, Dark Arts, Entertainment, Pandemonium, and Relentless Wrestling. Yeah. The Globe Theater, the Ukrainian Cultural Center, Knucklehead Hollywood, they're going to have a lot going on. Common Space Brewery's going to have a lot going on. So a lot of these events are going to be really just, a lot of these events are basically going to be, housed at these venues for at least the next couple of days, on all that going forward. So yeah, if you've saved up for this moment, I guarantee you it's going to be worth it for you in the long run. But this is just an example, guys, of what an event like WrestleMania does. You don't see this happening with Bound for Glory. You don't see this happening with All Out or Full Gear, or even Double or Nothing. You don't see that, with any of those events. You don't see it with them. You don't see, like I said, you don't see it with Bound for Glory. You don't see it with Double or Nothing or All Out. You don't see it with them. You only see it with WrestleMania. And why? Because a lot of these promotions, whether they're well-renowned by people or not, this is the best chance to get big-time exposure from not a nationwide or regional-wide perspective, but from a worldwide perspective. This is the best option, to get all eyes on them to check out what they have to offer, as well as get eyes on the unknown and allow them to showcase what they can do in the ring. And I guarantee you this. Paul Levesque, Triple H, despite how you might feel about what's going on right now, he is going to be paying attention. He's going to be looking and paying attention to a lot of these events and being like, okay, which person here, man and woman, can I sign to a contract to start out in NXT and then bring them to the main roster? I got my pick of the litter here. He's going to do that. He is going to be doing that. You can't tell me he won't. Same with Tony Khan. He's going to be looking at this going like, my pick of the litter here. Who can I sign and make all elite? Who can I say and sign and make honor bound. My pick a litter here. My pick a litter. He's going to do that. Same with Scott D'Amore in Impact Wrestling. Pick a litter here. Pick a litter. You know, the eyes are all going to be on these talents. And you can't tell me they won't want to try to sign them. I guarantee you that. I guarantee you that before this week is over, before this WrestleMania week is over and weekend is over, I guarantee you, you're going to hear about a lot of signings to WWE, notable ones too. The same with AEW and the same with Impact Wrestling. I guarantee you're going to hear it. You're going to hear this name going to WWE, this name going to Impact, that name going to AEW. It's going to happen. You don't believe me? Just watch. Just watch and pay attention. Because that's one of the reasons, wrestlers, men and women, take part in this. Because not only does it give them, along with the promotion that they're, taking part in or participating with, more exposure, but it gives them the exposure to get noticed by the likes of WWE, by the likes of AEW, and by the likes of Impact Wrestling. So you can't tell me that before this whole week is out and the WrestleMania weekend is done, we won't have new signings, to all three of those promotions. Because we will. We will. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are on WrestleMania, on this week of wrestling. What are your thoughts on all the various events that are going to be taking place at all these locations? Some basically sharing the same building and all that multiple times. What are your thoughts? Give me them down below and in the live chat, if you will. All right. So, with that said, and I got to take a breather here, guys. That was a lot to read off. But with that said, number three here at 1 hour and 43 minutes and 5 seconds. We're talking about TikTok hearing turned into a circus. That's right. So in case you guys don't know, TikTok has basically been the center point of controversy when it comes to Congress. And Congress, mostly the Democrats and some Republicans, as well as independents, various members, if you will, various members of, different political parties, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Grass Party, left wing, you name it, right wing, you get the idea. But various members of all the political parties, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Grass Party, left ring, right ring, various members have been coming together, uniting, believe it or not, trying to basically put an end to TikTok. And, and apparently, the hearing that they had recently, basically did not do them any favors. It did not do them any favors. And you know why? Because basically the CEO of TikTok tried to say his piece, tried to explain the ins and the outs of TikTok, tried to give the Congress, the people that were doing this hearing, tried to give them a better understanding of what TikTok was about, what it brings to the table and everything. And these people, this one person in particular, did not allow him to he got a word in edgewise, but basically did not really let him explain as best as he could, what TikTok was and why it's vital. Basically the guy that was questioning him, prosecuting him, if you will, that being the CEO of TikTok, he basically would interrupt him. He would interrupt him. He would, try to say this, try to say that. He tried to manipulate, from what I heard and saw, he tried to manipulate, everything this guy was saying. He tried to manipulate him. He did. Or not manipulate him, but he tried to manipulate what he was saying to make it sound worse than what it is. And the reason this was looked at as being turned into a circus, because basically when you go and watch this, it shows that none of these people that are putting TikTok into the situation of, hey, let's get rid of let's get rid of this troublemaking app, this non-trusting, data stealing info app, if you will. The reason people are looking at this recent hearing as a joke, as an embarrassment, as, a circus, if you will, is because the people putting TikTok into this scenario, putting the CEO into this scenario, obviously don't know anything about TikTok. They obviously don't know anything about any of the apps that are social media related. They don't know the ins and the outs. And it's like seriously, you're the ones that are putting TikTok on trial, and by the sounds of it, you don't know what the hell you're talking about when it comes to TikTok, and yet the guy you put on trial, the CEO of the company, is telling you flat out, straight to your face, yeah, this is what TikTok is about. This is what, we hold responsible. This is what we abide by. This is what we make sure does not happen. And yet the people that put them on trial, or putting them into this trial, this hearing, it sounds like they don't know what they're doing. They don't. I mean, I was watching a reaction video by Alex Hicks on his Raw Cognitivist channel. His Raw Cognitivist channel, which is a second channel he has, if you will. It's a podcast. It's mainly a podcast-like channel, which right now is undergoing some reconstruction, if you will, but it's still active, and he's the only one right now working on it. But on his Raw Cognitivist, channel, he did a reaction to it, and even he was like, "Are you serious? You're the people that are supposed to be helping to run our country correctly, and yet you are so out of touch with society and technology that you don't even know what the heck you're trying to, ban in the first place. You don't know the ins and outs of it. And you're trying to ban it. What? But what? Because you say it's doing this and everything? It's like, first of all, if you're going to ban something like TikTok, you need to know about TikTok. You need to learn the ins and outs on it. Now, one of the things they brought up was a lot of the negative stuff that came out from TikTok, like a lot of the challenges that would be put on TikTok that a lot of young kids, teenagers, would take part in, would participate in, which I will admit does not do a website, or not a website, but does a social media service like TikTok any favors. Like the blackout challenge, where it's a challenge where you basically choke yourself till you pass out or even potentially die. It's like, yeah, that's not a good thing. That's not something that makes TikTok look, good, in the long run. It doesn't do them any favors. I will say that. But it's like what a lot of people have said, about these apps. It's like they're saying they're good to have, but don't let your kids, unless they are of age, do not let your kids have access to these kind of apps. Do not let them touch these kind of apps. And if you have to, get their phone, get their tablets, and put parental guidance on there. And basically, if you're allowed, put TikTok under that parental guidance, where it's an app that they cannot access until they're of a certain age. That can be done. Or you have the kid, basically, you give them the phone. You give them the phone and everything, okay, or the tablet, but you make sure the kid does not, and I mean does not, enter it unless you are the one that puts in the passcode, a passcode only you know. So, I will admit that these challenges that will, you know, hurt people, hurt kids that mostly take part in it, either by, hospitalization or even worse. Yeah, it doesn't make, social media sites and apps like TikTok look good. But it's the parents that should take responsibility. And if I'm the parents, I take my kid's phone or their tablet, and if they have TikTok on there, I basically take that off, remove it, or what I do is I place it behind a parental shield. So in other words, they can access a Facebook if they have it, or Twitter, if they have it, but they cannot access TikTok because it's like, hey, that, you know, that's not for you. That's not an app you should be accessing anymore, and we put it behind this parental wall. That's what they need to do. That's what they need to do. But yeah, I'll admit that these kind of challenges, these that have a negative impact on our younger generation, that's not a good sign. That's not a good sign for TikTok in the long run. And it's easy to see why Congress would want, TikTok gone. Why people that support the Congress, in this effort want to see TikTok gone because they're sick and tired of these challenges happening. But here's the one thing that Alex pointed out. Alex pointed out the fact that if you're going to get rid of TikTok, you might as well start targeting all the other social media sites, like Facebook, like Twitter, like Instagram, like YouTube, like Rumble. You might as well start targeting them because they're under the same umbrella of social media. You might as well start targeting them if you're going to target TikTok. And TikTok is a place where people do run their businesses. They'll sometimes use TikTok to put out little advertisements, short advertisements of, hey, come and check out my Teespring store. Or come check out our new restaurant opening up here in Newman or Gustine. We got some great food. Check it out. You take TikTok away, what are they going to do? Go to Facebook? Okay, Facebook's a great option, but then what? Then you're going to what? You're going to target Mark Zuckerberg? What? Not Zuckerberg, but Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name is, the guy that runs Facebook. What, are you going to target him next and point out all the negativity that Facebook is about and how it's doing what you say TikTok's doing, and then you're going to shut that down? And then what are you going to do? Target Elon Musk and get Twitter taken down? I mean, let's look at the reality of this. Yes, there are some negative things that don't reflect very well on social media as a whole, like these challenges. And some of the more notable, social media sites and apps like TikTok, you know, are found guilty of this. They are found guilty of this, of allowing these kind of challenges to take place, and they should know better. You know, they should know better and stuff like, and it's just one of those situations to where, and I'm sorry I got a little distracted there. I heard something in the background. I don't know what that was, but anyway, they should know better. They should know better than to allow this kind of, social, this kind of social media, that's going to have a negative impact on all of social media to take place. And yes, the parents do take responsibility because they should know better than to allow the kids to have something like TikTok on their phone. And again, there are phones, there are ways to block TikTok from being accessed. And you can use parental guidance and a special code to make sure it doesn't get accessed. But again, look, but again, like I said, I get that these challenges don't put social media apps like TikTok in a good light. They don't. They really don't. And TikTok does need to take responsibility for it. I will admit that. Facebook, because of some of the negative crap it faces, has to take responsibility. So does Twitter. So does Instagram. All of them do. Snapchat. All of them have to take responsibility. And they know it. Along with the parents. But here's the thing. Let's be honest, guys. Let's be truly honest, and this is what I was trying to get to before I got distracted there with the noise that was coming from the outside. Let's be honest here, okay? We all know what this is about. We all know, truthfully, without a shadow of an effing doubt, we all know what this is about. This is all about the U.S., our country, basically pointing the finger at China and essentially using things like TikTok that come from China, that were founded in China. They're basically using that as a way of pointing the finger at China and say, we don't trust you anymore because you're responsible for COVID. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. It's not about TikTok and all that, and some of the negative things that is associated with TikTok. Which again, both the parents of the children and all that go with these challenges, they get put on TikTok. They should take responsibility, and TikTok should do something that prevents these kind of challenges from being uploaded and shared publicly. I'll agree with that, but let's face the facts. Let's face reality here, folks. Let's face absolute reality. We all know the real reason. We all know that the real reason is because the U.S. and Congress and the Senate still puts a majority of the blame on China for the COVID coronavirus outbreak. That's what this is about. It's not about TikTok, because if it was about TikTok, they would have learned and researched. Okay, let me rewind that. What I was trying to say is, if it's about TikTok, they would have done the research on what TikTok's about, found out about what learned about the ins and outs about it before putting this hearing together, before dragging in the CEO about this, and confronting him, trying to basically find him guilty and lock him up and whatever. If this was about TikTok, they should have done the research. They should have done the research in the first place, to learn the ins and the outs, of what they're going to be, putting on trial, putting in, talking about and highlighting into this hearing. But they didn't do that because the truth is, it's not about TikTok. It is about China taking the blame and responsibility in their minds for the COVID outbreak. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And they could use TikTok as a cover-up all they want. Yes, as I mentioned, are there some negative things that came that, they are right to be angry about that came from TikTok? Yes, I do agree with that. There's no doubt. All of us agree with that. We do. But the responsibility is also shared on the parents for allowing their young kids to even have access to TikTok that has those kind of things taking place on it. But outside of that, you could replace TikTok with any other, social media, conglomerate. You can replace it with YouTube. You can replace it with Facebook. You can replace it with Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Rumble, Dailymotion. You can replace it with any one of those, if not more. You can replace it with any one of those, if not more. Put them in a similar situation. Put people like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg in the same position as the TikTok CEO is in right now. You could do all that, and at the end of the day, a lot of people will see through the BS. At the end of the day, a lot of people will see through the BS, and that BS is that they know what the real reason is. It's not because of all the negativity that's associated with TikTok or any of sites like them. No. Which, again, I do agree they should take responsibility, if not mostly, along with the parents. But at the end of the day, we all know the truth. And the truth, in my opinion, folks, my opinion, is it's all about China taking responsibility for COVID. That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, why all of a sudden are you making TikTok, a priority? What? Okay, look, again, I'm like I said, I do agree. A lot of these challenges that have hurt young people, causing them to be hospitalized are worse. I agree. That's not a good look for TikTok or any social media site that allows that to happen. That is the truth, straight up truth. That's not a good site for them, or any social media site. I'll give you that. But the fact of the matter is this. Outside of that, outside of that negativity, that is, outside of those things and negativity that doesn't make TikTok or any social media site look good in the long run for the future. Outside of that, we all know what this is about. We all know that this is just Congress and the Senate trying to basically get China to come out and admit, yes, we're responsible for COVID. Yes, we knew about the consequences. Yes, we're guilty. That's what it's really all about. Because again, outside of those negative, you know, black eyes on social media, on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter, when it comes to these unnecessary, immature challenges and all that, outside of those, what has TikTok really done? What has Facebook really done? What has Twitter really done? What has Instagram, Snapchat really done? To cause Congress and Senate to want to see them shut down. Nothing. They've done nothing. And what this really is at the end of the day with TikTok is just their way of trying to get China to admit, okay, we knew about COVID, we're responsible for it, we're guilty, lock us up. That's what it's about at the end of the day. And you can agree with me or not. It's just my opinion, just like you will have yours. But at the end of the day, you all know it's true, in a sense, that there is more to this than just, oh, TikTok's a bad thing, it shouldn't be around. There are ways to fix something like TikTok, so this kind of negativity that gives it a black eye, along with the likes of Facebook, Twitter, and everything, and all the other apps, social media apps that I mentioned, there is a way to patch up and fix it so it doesn't happen again. And the CEO of China knows it, which, by the way, you want to know why people look at this as turning into a three-ring freaking circus? You want to know why? It's because the guy that was, the congressman that was, putting the CEO on trial, if you will, in this hearing, who was constantly interrupting him because he didn't want to hear what the CEO was saying. Get this. Tells the guy he's Chinese. And the CEO has to say, no, sir, by the way, I'm not Chinese, I'm Singaporean. Yeah, Singaporean. He's from Singapore. You know what that also tells me? Folks? That also tells me that we have racist jerkholes in Congress. Because how can you mistake somebody for being one race or ethnicity, if you will, over another? How can you mistake one race's authenticity over another? That don't make sense. It don't. But yet he did it. And the CEO had to correct him. That's why this is turning into a circus in the eyes of a lot of folks. That's why this turned into a circus and become pretty much, as some people call it, an embarrassment. Because it is. It is. Truth is, when I saw Alex's reaction video, and I heard the back and forth between the congressman and the CEO of TikTok, like I said, it just dawned on me. It just dawned on me there that I know what this is really about. And look, again, I agree. The negative black eye that these challenges that have cost young people, their lives, have not hospitalized them. You know, yeah, the negative black eye is something that TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, they do not need. They do not need. But outside of that, when I saw this, it just dawned on me there that I know what this is about. And what this is about is the U.S. wanting China to admit their guilt of being responsible for COVID. That if they take that responsibility and come out and say, yes, we're responsible, we're guilty, I think that would be the end of it. Maybe not, but I think that would basically be something that would say, the U.S., but basically it'd be something that would say, the U.S. can now stop using any other excuse to get people or to get at people just because, they blame them for something that, yeah, they do have responsibility for a majority of it, but it's like, seriously, it, it's like, seriously, why don't you just, why don't you just admit the truth? Why don't you just tell this CEO of TikTok and tell China themselves that the reason you're dragging them through the mud, if you will, right now, outside of the negative stuff, negative black eye that they have to endure right now because of those challenges, why don't you just acknowledge to them right now that the reason you're dragging them through the mud is because they are the best, most prolific example of showing the world that you find China guilty for the coronavirus. That's what this is, folks. And TikTok just happens to be, unfortunately, the biggest, you know, thing, the biggest, you know, I guess you could say dupe, if you will, fall guy, if you will, in this situation. Like I said, they can patch up and fix their app and prevent these kind of things, these challenges and all that from ever happening again. They can do that. There is no doubt. But damn, if this isn't an example of, basically hiding what your true agenda is in the long run, I don't know what is. Because again, if this was legit, not only would they have done their research on what TikTok is to make sure they had all the information they needed so they don't have to interrupt the CEO and they can let him speak his piece, but they also wouldn't have mistaked him for being Chinese when he's not. And just looking at those two examples right there, not knowing what the heck you're fighting about when it comes to TikTok, as well as mistaking the CEO's, race, his authenticity for something else, that tells me that this is nothing more than just the way to blame China, to continuously blame China for the COVID situation. And TikTok just happens to be the you know, biggest fall guy, fall girl that they can find to take the fall, to take the fall and, go down with the ship, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I don't think this is really about TikTok. I think this is all about them getting China to come out and admit, yes, you're right, we're guilty, we knew about COVID, we set it on you on purpose and everything. Well, we set it on you and the rest of the world on purpose, we're sorry, we're guilty. That's what this is about. And if it is, why don't the Congress and U.S. just say it? Congress and Senate, I should say, just say it. Why don't they just say it? Just say, okay, TikTok, you want the truth? You want the truth, Mr. Was it Chow or Chow? Chow was his name? You want the truth, Mr. Chow? You know what? Here's the truth. You're right. TikTok shouldn't be put on trial here. Yes, you are right. Everything you've said does pan out, does make sense. But if you want to know the truth as to why we are targeting TikTok, it's because you're the biggest target we can find to get China and your government to admit that it's their fault the world suffered COVID. That's all they have to do. I know it sounds a little silly, but that's all they have to really do. Just tell the CEO, hey, we're not like, hey, we don't. You think we really want you here? No, we don't. We're just using you as an example to say that China, what you did to the rest of the world and to the U.S. with COVID, what happening with TikTok right now is on you. That's all they have to do. Because that's basically what this is all about at the end of the day. That's what this really is at the end of the day. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this? Do you think Congress does have a point to get rid of TikTok? Or do you think it's just an excuse because they want China to come out and say, we're guilty. We knew about how COVID, we're the ones that set it out on the world. Oh, we're guilty. Because I think it is. And if that's the case, just come out and say it. Don't take, a very popular app that everybody, businesses, adults, responsible teens, responsible kids, utilize, all right? Don't take that away because it's based out of China. Again, to me, all the evidence is there. The two biggest pieces of evidence that this is not about TikTok and this is more about, getting China to come out and admit that, the COVID situation was their fault and that they did it on purpose or something. The biggest evidence, one, Congress didn't do their research on what TikTok is, and two, mistaking the CEO for being Chinese when he's not. That to me is the biggest examples of evidence that this is more than just about TikTok, in my opinion. It really is. But let me know what your thoughts, guys, are. Let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comment section, as well as in the live chat during this Topics on My Mind podcast. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree with me on it or not? I'd love to hear from you guys on it. All right. So, next up. Number four. Let me get something to drink here for a second. Number 4. More on Victoria Alonso getting fired, and now she's threatening to sue Disney. So, as I was talking about in the last Topics on My Mind, which was on the final, where this was a final topic, more information came out about Victoria Alonso. And apparently, not only is she a part of the LGBTQ community, because she is lesbian, but apparently, she did not get permission from Disney to work on this Argentina 1985 movie with Amazon Films. She didn't. And even if she did, she was told that, okay, you could do it, but you can't do anything else outside of that. That basically she cannot she cannot do any publicity. She cannot show up in any red carpets with the crew, the director, and all that. She's got to be loyal to Disney. Like, hey, we'll let you do the Argentina thing. We'll let you produce it, but you can't do any more outside of that. No promoting, no, showing up at, red carpet events with them. Nothing like that. You are Disney and Disney only. Well, depending on which side you believe, she basically didn't do any of that. Yeah. It's like, even if she got permission, to produce the movie and everything, with the catch that she cannot do any publicity and all that, I'll be on the red carpet with them. Guess what? She said, screw you, or F you, Disney, I'll do what I want. I'm Victoria Alonso, I'll do what I want. And guess what? She not only showed up at the red carpet at the Oscars, at the Academy Awards, with the director of Argentina 1985 and the crew, but she also promoted it. She publicitated it, as much as she wanted. And that got under Disney's skin. Because even if they gave her permission to do it, that basically, that situation of her going against the agreement of, yeah, you could do the producing of the film, but you can't do any more than that. Her basically giving the middle finger, her giving the, that screw you gesture with the arms to Disney, and going off and doing the publicity and showing up on the red carpet didn't do any favors. It didn't. But again, that's depending on whether or not you believe that side of the story. Outside of the story that's making the rounds more so than anything, and that is the fact that she breached her contract with Disney and Marvel by going and doing this without the consent. Not just going and doing this producing of Argentina 1985, but also promoting it and being on the red carpet with the people behind it. You know, that, which is the one, like I say, making the rounds more so than the other story, that itself is not a good sign. So they had no choice. They said, "Look, you breached your contract. You're not supposed to do this. You work for us. You're not supposed to do this. You have a contract with us. You breached it. You out. You out." So guess what she's going to do? Her lawyer is going to help her sue the company. Yeah. They're going to help her sue the company, and apparently she wants to sue for, what is it? Let me see, guys. Hold on. I do apologize for any lag. Let me see here. Okay, so there's a lot of new information coming out. Okay, so let's see what we got here. And again, I do apologize for any lag. Okay, so this is from Deadline. I'm looking at this at courtesy of Deadline right now. This is from Deadline, and it says, if they stop with the pop-ups and everything here. But this is on the 24th. It says, this was reported on the 24th. It says, Victoria Alonso weighing legal action against Disney Marvel over sudden firing. Quote, serious consequences. Promises lawyer Patty Gallison as Mouse House points at indisputable breach of contract. Yeah, let me reread that. The headline here is Victoria Alonso weighing legal action against Disney Marvel over sudden firing. Quote, serious consequences. Promises lawyer Patty Gallison as Mouse House points at indisputable breach of contract. So, this is what it says here, and I quote, the Walt Disney Company is facing, quote, serious consequences and possible legal action over the pink slipping this past week, of Marvel VFX chief Victoria Alonso. Making it clear to Bob Iger, Kevin Feige, and everyone at the House that she is, making it clear to Bob Iger, Kevin Feige, and everyone at the House of Mouse that she is not going quietly. The Oscar-nominated producer has retained the services of Patty Glassler. To that end, with competing POVs on what was going on behind the scenes, the Glassler will think Howard Achieve and Shopno LLP partner is putting Disney on notice. In a statement released Friday for the now former president, physical and post-production, VFX and animation production for Marvel Studios, the legislator who is already taking Disney-owned Lucasfilm to court for canning Star Wars TV series The Acolyte, EP Karen McCarthy said. It says here the idea that Victoria was fired over a handful of press interviews related to a personal passion project about human rights and democracy that was nominated for an Oscar and which she got Disney's blessing to work on is absolutely victorious. Oh, not Victoria. Okay, let me reread that. Okay. The idea, this is from, I think, what was her name? What was her name? Carrie McCarthy? Okay. Carrie McCarthy says, the idea that Victoria was fired over a handful of press interviews related to a personal passion project about human rights and democracy that was nominated for an Oscar and which she got Disney's blessing to work on is absolutely ridiculous. Victoria, a gay Latina who had the courage to criticize Disney, was silenced. Then she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. Disney and Marvel made a really poor decision that will have serious consequences. There is a lot more to the story, and Victoria will be telling it shortly in one form or another. Okay, now here's what the rest of the article says, and it quotes Disney isn't taking the shot. Okay, this is what Deadline says in response to that. And again, that was from Karen McCarthy, I think a friend of hers. But this is what Disney said in response, and I quote, this is also from Deadline. It says, it's unfortunate that Victoria is sharing a narrative that leaves out several key factors concerning her departure, including an undisputable breach of contract and a direct violation of company policy. We will continue to wish her the best for the future and thank her for her numerous contributions to the studio. That was what one Disney spokesman said to Deadline. Now, it says here, and I quote, Alonso still has her Possibility is Your Superpower memoir coming out later this year on Disney Imprint. It says, the very press-friendly Alonso, who was constantly an outspoken champion of diversity at Disney to the point where she called out then Disney CEO Bob Chapek to, quote, take a stand against Florida's anti-LGBTQ legislation, Don't Say Gay bill, abruptly departed earlier this week from Marvel Studios after a near 2-decade run. Let's see. Okay, so they quote what she was telling Chapek. Okay. So here's where it gets interesting. It says, however, with what we heard, that the Bureau's Airborne's... Okay. However, with that, we hear that the... Okay, let me kind of reread this in a way that makes sense for all of us. However, with that, we hear that Alonso did not initially seek permission to produce the Academy Award-nominated Argentina 1985, but did see her contract redrafted out of respect for her years at the company. The sticking point was that Alonso was distinctly not supposed to promote the political drama, which she did. That was the breaking point, an insider says. Okay, so let's see. Let's continue on. It says, as for Alonso being told to stay away from the press, there are more than a handful of media clippings from June last year announcing her memoir and with quotes from the then exec. In what is certain to become an... Okay, let me kind of get this up here for a second. Okay, in what is certain to become an even sharper elbows... okay, let me read that. In what is certain to become even sharper elbows if this goes to court, Deadline has been told that despite her affable demeanor to the press, Alonso was sometimes challenging to work with at the House of Mouse. The punishing schedule aside, one insider cited how Alonso would take days off to conduct her own personal business affairs. Read producing the Argentina 1985 Oscar-nominated film. Excuse me there. And this ultimately resulted in, to some degree, in a logjam of Marvel films and TV series in the post-production pipeline, causing major theatrical release date delays. While many studios suffered delays in the post-production houses due to the pandemic, Disney on several occasions postponed its biggest films, i.e. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, and Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, and most recently The Marvels. In the new cost-cutting, job-cutting Iger 2.0, Count VFX expenses which was chiefly under Alonso's domain, as one of those line items that needs to be reined in. Whether or not that meant showing the door to Alonso is a whole other matter, likely heading towards a payout or a trial at this rate. The hiring of Hollywood heavyweight legislator Gazlud was first reported by Variety. So, ooh, and I hit the finger on my mic there. I do apologize. Um, and again, I do apologize for any lag there. It is not receiving much there. So I do apologize for that. But anyway, yeah. Again, depending on what you believe, coming out of this, depending on what you believe, she basically, whether or not she got the blessing from Disney, from what people are saying, she was not supposed to promote the film. It's like you could do the film, but you can't promote it. That was one thing. It's like you could do the film, but you can't promote it. You can't do interviews. You can't be on the red carpet or nothing. But she defied that. She said, no, I'm going to promote this film. This is a personal passion project of mine. I'm going to promote it whether you like it or not. That was her attitude, apparently. But if you believe the more talked about side, which has been, talked about throughout more articles than anything, basically, not only did she not get the permission and blessing from Disney, but she would use her personal time off to work on the project, by, taking all these days off when she didn't need to. She would take all these days, she would take these unnecessary days off when she didn't need to work on the project, which caused a lot of, a lot of delays, a lot of basically, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of basically, log jamming, as they call it. I think that's what they call it, log jamming in, post production with the VFX effects and all that. So, yeah, she basically, I think, screwed herself. She screwed herself. Now she's trying to change the narrative to where, she's the victim, not Disney, and she's hired this heavyweight, Patty Gousler, it sounds like, to back her up on her claims. But here's what a lot of people are saying. You can hire the best lawyers in the business. Disney's going to outdo you with their lawyers because they got even better lawyers. And apparently they have undisputable evidence that she breached her contract. So the question's going to be, depending on how this gets finalized, what is she going to do? It's like, what is she going to do if she goes to court, puts all this on the table? See, this is all, and basically says, here's my evidence. Here's everything that shows that I was a victim. Now I'm back to excellent condition here. I do apologize for any lag and buffering. But like I said, what is she going to do if she goes to court with them potentially? Is she going to show off and say, see, here's all the evidence that shows I'm the victim. I'm the one that was in the right. They're in the wrong. What is she going to do once the lawyers, which many people say are some of the best lawyers you can hire, what is she going to do when they place down in front of the judge and in front of the jury the evidence they have of her breaching her contract? What is she going to do? What is her answer going to be? What is her lawyer going to do? Is her lawyer going to look at that and be like, have the reaction of, oh, blankety blank, we're screwed? Or is she just going to, agree to a settlement? Or is she going to come out and admit it and say, okay, fine, I admit it. I didn't get the consent. I didn't get the permission. But I've been holding off on this project for too long. I needed to get it done before I retire. I wanted to get it done. I couldn't hold it off any longer. Is that what's going to happen? Is that what's going to happen? That she's going to, if she can't basically back up, the evidence she has in front of the evidence they have, is she going to basically say, okay, I agree to a settlement, or is she going to finally say, oh, right, and admit that, she didn't get permission and that, and this is the way I look at it, is she going to acknowledge that she's had this on her mind to do for so long that she basically felt that if she didn't do it now, she wouldn't get another chance? Is that what this is about? Oh, not about, but is that going to be her answer? Is that going to be your answer? Because I think it might be. I think it just might be her answer of she's going to come out and say, if she can't basically back up what she's claiming and she has to admit the truth, she's going to be saying, okay, look, Truth is, I didn't get a permission. They're right. I'm wrong. But I've had my mind on doing this for so long. I didn't know how much longer I would have to before I wouldn't be able to do it. Maybe that's what happened. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know. But I can tell you honestly. I can tell you honestly that if I'm her, that if I'm Victoria Alonso, and I know that I'm going to be in a juggernaut battle, possibly a losing juggernaut battle in court with Disney, I either settle this before it gets there behind the scenes, or basically I just swallow my pride and knowing that I could lose, just start memorizing what I'm going to say, truthfully to the judge. And then when that time comes, if it does, just admit, look, this is a passion project I've had on my mind to do for such a long time. I wasn't sure when I'd be able to get to do it, any sooner, so I decided to do it when I shouldn't have. Is that it? We don't know. And here's what I think is going to happen. If she was to settle, I think the agreement will be, yes, she can go off and do other things again, or go off and do whatever she wants now, with whatever company or studio hires her. But the agreement, the settlement will be, here's a certain amount of money, but because you used company time to work on this when you should have focused on other things, we get, that being Disney, we get what's the word? We get a huge chunk of the pie of the Argentina 85 movie. In other words, whatever like revenue it gets back from, on demand purchases or rentals or theatrical showings that it might get still, if they go with a settlement, part of that settlement might be Disney getting part of that revenue in their favor because Victoria basically utilized time she shouldn't have used to work on it. That could be what happens. But yeah, apparently Disney, has undisputable evidence that she breached her contract, and she's trying to say, no, that's not true. You gave me your blessing. You gave me your blessing and everything. But you got all this other stuff of, okay, if they gave her her blessing, if they gave her their blessing, she agreed. She did agree not to promote the movie, did not be on the red carpet for the film, but yet, she decided to go against that. So we'll see what happens. If it goes to court, I got a feeling that the more talked about, oh, she did it without the consent, without the blessing, and da da da. I think that's going to be the more favorable direction, the more truthful direction that's going to get revealed, and not the oh, she got the blessing but she didn't get the consent or anything to promote it and everything because they told her not to as part of the agreement. We'll see. We'll have to see. But yeah, if I'm anybody that's looking to get in a position like Victoria Alonso with any major company studio like Disney or Warner Brothers or Universal Comcast, if I'm someone that wants to get in that position, I need to tell myself that from here on in, if I'm going to work with them in that position, I'm only loyal to them and no one else. That's it. Or if you're thinking about, oh, I want to be in that position, but you're also like, well, yeah, I want to be in that position, but I also have these other things I want to do. Maybe you need to weigh that and be like, well, I want to be there, but I want to get this done first. So you know what? I'll hold off on that offer or hold off on that job I want to get, that someone like Victoria Alonso had, and I'm going to focus on my personal passion project first. That might be the best directive. And I think that's the lesson learned here. If you're going to basically be, or you're basically going to try out for, or apply and try out for the job position she had in any studio company, then the best thing to do is look at what you want to do first from a passion, independent perspective, focus on that, and then go back to that opportunity of getting that job. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. All right. So, with that said, let's get on to number 5. And the number 5 topic is divide on whether CM Punk will return to AEW soon. Now, we've talked about this already, but long story short, CM Punk came out and did a tweet and delete on his Instagram, calling out a lot of people: Dave Meltzer, Jericho, Chris Jericho, John Moxley, and so on. And then he deleted it. And then, of course, there's been discussion whether or not, he may have potentially burned the remaining parts of the bridge of him to come back to AEW and stuff like that. So you got a lot of people, a lot of the fan base, and even those within within the wrestling industry, going back and forth, and whether or not he'll make a return, or he's done, or if he's basically done. And there's people like Alex Hicks, just Alex's World, JD from NY206, and Solid Monster that basically feel well, at least some of them do. I think Solid Monster feels a little bit more different, but I think Alex and JD feel like Punk's coming back in some way. Or is it Alex and Solid Monster? It's one of them, but at least two out of the three feel like he's coming back, where the other doesn't. And look, when I look at this situation with CM Punk and how outspoken he is, you know, I think a lot of people have said it before, when even before he came back to wrestling, you know, or even before he officially debuted with AEW. Excuse me. Here's the thing: CM Punk is a very outspoken, not smoking, but very outspoken individual. He does not care who you are. If he feels, excuse me, if he feels you are a detriment to the business and even to him, if he feels that way, he will let you know it. He will basically take the Glock, if you will, aim it at you and say, right into the middle, and say, hello. That's what he'll do. And I know I shouldn't have said that based on what happened today, so I do apologize. But you get the idea. He'll basically take the arrow and aim for the target on the tree, boom, and hit the apple that's, you know, um, hanging from a rope on a tree branch, right in front of it, right in front of the target. He'll take the arrow, boom, and he will basically, shoot straight, right into that apple and right into the bullseye. That's what he would do. And again, I do apologize for that other allegory I used there. I do apologize. Lord, forgive me. In your name I pray. Amen. But anyway, he'll basically run you down. He will basically show no mercy, and when he starts basically verbally letting you have it and how he feels about you. He won't. He won't. And honestly, any wrestling promotion, any combat sports promotion out there, they need to realize what they get themselves into when they bring someone like a CM Punk in. Because those are the kind of people that will not hold back. Those are the kind of people that I think I've mentioned before, love pro wrestling enough that they feel that if it's going to get taken seriously, you need to inject a lot of realism into it. Even if that realism means getting under the skin of certain people you're going to work with, and then taking them aside and saying, hey, look, I know I got under your skin, but I'm doing it because it gets people's attention, it gets them talking if we are real. And I think that's the kind of person Punk is. He's the kind of person that looks at the fact that, hey, we can make money with this, but we got to be real. We can't be like, okay, I'm supposed to say this, or we can't be told, go out there and say this and this and this and this, touch upon this, touch upon that. No, he's the kind of guy that's like, hey, we go out there and we shoot, we shoot from the hip, we speak from the heart, we real. We don't hold back, we don't bullet point anything. So yeah, CM Punk is the kind of person that's like that, and obviously not a lot of wrestling locker rooms, enjoy it. Not a lot of them do. Some do, some don't. Not a lot of the wrestling community. YWC, IWC, FWC, Facebook wrestling community, TWC, Twitter wrestling community. None of them, ours, RWC, Reddit wrestling community, you know, none of them like it. Some do, some don't. And that's why I think there's a divide right now on whether or not he's going to come back. Because some like the idea that Punk is outspoken, will be real, doesn't need a bullet point or anything, he'll just let go. And they feel and believe that helps generate, revenue and, for the company he's a part of, and gets people's attention not only on the company, but gets them talking about whatever he's a part of, storyline wise. While others, don't like the idea of someone like Punk being like that because it takes away from the enjoyment of the product and everything. It's like, they understand, hey, you can be real once in a while. You can inject a little bit of realism here and there, but if you try to be real 24/7, it takes away from the enjoyment of the product. So I can understand that divide, on from the fans and from those inside the business that, feel whether or not Punk will make a return. Because honestly, if he does, honestly, if he does make a return to AEW, and they agree, hey, let's inject that realism. Let's just, speak from the heart, if you will, shoot from the brain. I want, speak from the heart. Basically, you know, turn off the sensible part of the brain and just go forth, if you will. Um, then, if he makes a return and they agree to do something like that, especially if he, gets involved with working with some people projecting with the Blackpool Combat Club against the Elite. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Turn up the dial 100. Turn up the dial 100 when it comes to viewership, merchandise, ratings, you name it. Because it will generate. It will generate, especially if you let that happen. Now, on the other hand, you know, if he doesn't return, then it's a great loss. It is a tremendous loss for AEW. It is a tremendous loss for Tony Khan if he doesn't return. Because you are basically, telling the world that what you pretty much promoted off a rumor, which pretty much everybody knew was true anyway, and sold out the United Center, 20 plus thousand people, on a rumor, which they knew was true anyway. You're just going to tell them that you just wasted your money over the past 2, 3 years. You just wasted your money away, on this guy that basically is not going to return any kind of investment for you. He's not. And now you're probably going to let him walk right into the arms of WWE again. Or at least walk into the shaking hand, agreement-wise, of Triple H and WWE. And a lot of people don't want to see that because they know that even though he might be able to make WWE better than it ever has been, they look at the fact that he can do much more for AEW. Because out of the two companies, AEW needs people like him more so than WWE. So is there a chance he could come back? Absolutely. I'm not denying it, especially if they play the cards right and they get everybody to work on the same page. But I don't know. The ultimate, the ultimate deciding, the ultimate decision maker here is Tony Khan. He is. He is the ultimate decision maker. Yes. Does Chris Jericho have a lot of pull in the company? Absolutely. Does John Moxley have a lot of pull in the company? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, despite the pull they have, despite the pull that the EVPs have, that being Omega, the Bucks, Page, at the end of the day, Tony Khan has the final say. So if Tony Khan wants the attention to be on All Elite Wrestling post WrestleMania, while WWE is resetting themselves for another year or for whatever the future holds, when it comes to the company and all that, and so on, and roster and so on and so forth. If I'm Tony Khan, I make that decision. I say, look, I'm the boss. I'm bringing Punk back. You guys are going to work with him. We're going to make this look as real and legit as possible. And that's that. He needs to make that decision. He needs to do it. And you know what? If you want to avoid any behind the scenes issues, put Punk, give Punk a trailer. Give him a trailer outside of the arena so he can be in private, he can be in peace, and then when it's time for him to come out, he comes out of the trailer, goes into the arena, and does his thing and with, by himself or with whoever he's working with. It's as simple as that. Simple as that. But yeah, it's just one of those. I guess you could say it's one of those situations that if you're in Tony Khan's position, you're like, well, I want the guy back, but I don't like him calling me out sometimes and calling some of the talent out. But him doing that does make us money. It does make us revenue. So it's like, I want him back, but how do I work with that? It basically, I do not envy being in Tony Khan's shoes right now. But if he wants people talking more about AEW post WrestleMania, starting next week, he needs to get the ball rolling and he needs to make the decision today. Whether Punk comes back or he releases Punk, from the contract without a non-compete clause connected to it. But yeah, there is a divide. Some people want him back, fan and wrestler wise, and everything, and insider wise, and there are some that don't, fan, wrestler, and insider wise. Whatever. So now we just have to sit back and let Tony Khan be that ultimate decision maker. Does he bring CM Punk back and put his foot down saying, hey, we're going to do it this way? Or does he let him go with a non-compete clause and possibly walk right into the shaking hands of Paul Levesque and make some business there for WWE? We'll have to see. But let me know what your thoughts are in the comments as well as in the live chat, as we progress on here. All right. So next up, more wrestling related news. Vince McMahon reimbursed WWE with $17.4 million. But does that mean he's in the clear and back fully? So this past Friday, or at least this past Friday and Thursday, news came out, according to Variety, that Vince McMahon had reimbursed $17.4 million back to WWE. This pretty much, in a lot of people's minds, confirms that he is guilty of the accusations made against him for, basically raping a lot of these women, sleeping with them, basically NDAing them over the past couple of years, if not the past decades. It just proves that he's guilty on all fronts of that. But here's the question, though. Does that mean excuse me, I just got a message there. But does that mean he's back fully in WWE? Does that mean he's in the clear? Does that mean he's back fully? Is he back creatively fully, partially, whatever? Look, just because he reimbursed the $17.4 million, which proves he's guilty about all the accusations against him, just because he did that, it doesn't mean he's in the clear. It doesn't mean he's in the clear when it comes to the impending lawsuits from the shareholders. It doesn't mean he's in the clear when it comes to any other legal action that's going against him. And two, it doesn't mean he's back fully, if at all. And I know people can say, oh, well, this is a Vince McMahon move. This is a Vince McMahon move. Da, 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 da. It's WrestleMania. You think Vince is going to sit back and let Hunter run it? Da, 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 da. Look, believe all you want, because yes, as I've said numerous times before, Vince McMahon's actions over the past several years, have basically given you a negative taste in your mouth. All right? And not just a negative taste in your mouth, but it's basically rented space in your mind to the point that you think anything that looks like it's a Vince move, you're automatically going to think it's Vince. So first of all, one, no, he's not back fully, creatively or anything. He's not. Let's put an end to that right now. And again, does it mean he's in the clear? No. Just because he reimbursed $17.4 million back to the company doesn't mean he's in the clear. Because the shareholders are still going to want him out. They're still going to go after him. And there's a lot more probably waiting in the rings. They're probably looking at what Vince is doing and going like, yeah, you can reimburse all this money you want, Vince. We're still going to get your ass in court, and we're still going to get you out of here. So, no, I don't think it means I don't think it means he's in the clear when it comes to that kind of stuff. And no, it does not mean he's back fully when it comes to creative and all that. No, it doesn't. So I want people to forget about that right now. Take that out of your mind and forget about it. Okay? Because no, he is not back. Period. He is not. He is not back whatsoever, fully. Because if he was back, I'll put it this way. If he was back, first of all, would Cody be allowed to have the belt he has right now that he's going to wear at WrestleMania? With all the companies, promotions he's worked for since he left WWE 6-7 years ago? No. Vince would want to see that. Vince, if he hears an inkling of that, creatively, would want to see it and tell Cody, you get rid of that belt, you just wear a plain white belt with your name on it. That's it. He doesn't want no acknowledgement of any other company. And speaking of that, do you think Cody and Roman would be allowed to even acknowledge in some capacity AEW in the recent promo? No. No. They wouldn't. The fact of the matter is this. Whether you believe Vince is back or not, I'm telling you right now he's not. He isn't. Because if he was, the first people that would say anything would be people like Sean Ross Sapp and Fightful Select, PW Insider, Mike Johnson, WrestleVotes. They would all be reporting it. They would all be reporting it because I guarantee you there would be a picture coming out right off the bat if he's if he's in creative recently with a headset on going like Corey Graves, call Johnny Gargano or Short Man, call Chad Gable Shorty D. Somebody would take pictures of that and they would have a date on it. But we haven't seen that yet, have we? We haven't seen reports of that, have we? No. The truth is, he's not back fully. And he is not in the clear as far as any of the other allegations and lawsuits coming his way, are concerned. He's not. He's not. So I think a lot of people need to stop concerning themselves with him being back fully, creatively, and everything. He's not. He might have some input here and there, but remember, Paul Levesque has the final say. And heck, people like Jason Solomon, the Solomonster, even said it best. Maybe the reason we're getting things like Lesnar and Omos is because Triple H, Paul Levesque knows, hey, if I don't give him this match, he might try to sneak back in. So I'll throw him a little bone. And that's what he did. Same thing with Trish and Lita. I'll throw him a little bone. There you go. That's what he did. He's not gonna basically, he's not gonna tell you, he's not gonna straight up tell you, yeah, the reason I'm doing this is because I'm afraid of Vince. No, he's throwing him a little bone. That's what he's doing to keep him away, to keep that temptation of trying to get back away, even though it's been reported that through this SEC agreement, he can't do any more than what he said he's there to do. And that's facilitate a sale and look over the media rights for television. And that's it. And by the way, need we forget, according to various reports, he's not working the kind of hours he used to anymore. He's working normal hours now. Those normal hours, if you will. Those normal hours, if you will. Those are basically hours that are more like regular work hours, apparently. Like, essentially for him, it's probably like 12-hour days. Like, go in there at 7 a.m., get out at 6. And that's it. Or go in there at 6, get out at 5. Maybe it's 8-hour days. We don't know. We don't know. But the point is, Vince Vince is not back fully. So you can cross that out of your mind. And no, he is not out of the woods yet by being cleared. He can pay as much money as he wants to try to get his name cleared, try to clear things up. But it's like I said one time before. How deep will those pockets reach? How much further does he have to reach down in his pocket? He has to reach down in his pocket to pay off any debt or any lawsuits or anything to get his name cleared. How much further? Because the further he goes, the more sooner it's going to result in him being broke. And he knows it. And I think the shareholders and those that are throwing these lawsuits at him and all that, they know it too. So no, he is not in the clear yet, and no, he is not back. Because if he came back fully, he's basically uh, he's disregarding that SEC agreement that he made, and that gets him in legal trouble. So no, he's not back fully, no matter what you want to say. And that's just my opinion. And you know what? If I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Because again, Sean Rossap, Mike Johnson, PW Insider, WrestleVotes, reliable sources would say otherwise. So I don't think he's back. And no, I don't think he's in the clear, even if he refurnished $17.4 million to WWE, which proves he is guilty of the accusations that were put against him because of these women, especially when it comes to the NDA that he had some of the recent women agree to, if not the women throughout the years and decades. So no, he is not back in. So he's not in the clear yet, and he's not back fully. And that's all I'm going to say on that. But let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know what your thoughts are on it down below in the comment section. Love to hear from each and every one of you as I get up for a second, guys, and stretch. There we go. Pop the elbow. And now we're going to move on to the next topic here, the second to last topic, which is number 7. And this second to last topic goes like this. Will Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and forever... Oh, okay, let me reread that. Let me read that. Okay. So, yeah, just stretch the legs a little bit and everything. But number 7, as we get to 2 hours and 58 minutes here. Yeah, it's a long one, isn't it? 2 hours, 58 minutes. Will Mighty Morphin Power Rangers once and always open the door for other nostalgic shows, animated or live action, to make a return on services like Netflix? Now, the reason I asked that question is one of the shows that is being currently worked on that came out around the same time as Mighty Morphin is Sonic SatAM by Team Season. And they are working on this mainly to try to at least get the interest of any potential platform out there. And right now, it looks like the more logical direction they're going to go in from a presentation standpoint, when it's all said and done, is YouTube and their website and their YouTube channel. But they obviously want to get the attention of other platforms outside of YouTube, and Netflix is an obvious choice. But we have to remember the show that Team Season is trying to continue with their Lost Season 3 is on Paramount Plus. So, to me, so obviously they're doing so obviously at the end of the day, they will do what they can to get the attention of either one of them to try to get Sonic SatAM back to Providence in some shape or form or fashion. Now, with that said, will this happen because Mighty Morphin Power Rangers MMPR's Once and Always special opening the door? I think it will. I think it will because, here's the thing. With Power Rangers, we've seen many crossovers with some of the newer Ranger shows and everything. A lot of crossovers, return of older Rangers and stuff like that. But we've never had something of this caliber. Something that basically goes right back to where it started and everything, and really just pays tribute not just to where it all began, but also references and acknowledges all the other Ranger shows and locations and stuff like that. So, Yeah, I think honestly it is. I think it does honestly open the door for other animated or live action shows to try to make a return in a similar fashion that Once and Always is doing. Like I said, Team Season with Sonic SatAM in season 3, I think is a good example of trying to go in that direction and you know give the fans something that they've been wanting for over 30 years. There are other shows that Saban was part of, like VR Troopers. If they want to go back and try to do that, maybe as a reunion, they could do that. Big Bag Beetleborgs, Common Rider, Mask Rider, if you will. There is a lot there that they can do new stuff with, reunion wise and everything, with streaming services like Netflix, like Amazon Prime Video, like Paramount Plus, like Peacock, like Disney Plus, like HBO Max. Hold on for a sec. I don't know who that is. Sorry, wrong number. I think they got. But anyway, like I said, hold on for a sec. Just let that. Okay. Like I said, you got. Again, sorry for that interruption. I don't know who that was. Um, Area code 562. Obviously not around here. But anyway, let me get my mic adjusted again. I do apologize. But anyway, you got services like Netflix and Amazon Prime Video, um, Paramount Plus, Peacock, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, HBO Max, MGM Plus, us, and all that. You got all these services that you could work with to do these kind of reunion specials similar to what Power Rangers is doing with Netflix. So excuse me there. So I so yeah, to me I think that I so to me honestly I think that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always is opening the door, and I think it all depends on the success, the viewership numbers that Netflix is gonna rake in with the initial showing and probably repeated showings of the special by folks that want to see it and want to see it over and over again. It's all going to depend on that success. And once that success is shown, and if it's shown in a decent way, that's going to open the door for other, nostalgic shows, animated live action to try to get that treatment. Again, Team Season is trying to do what they can with Sonic SatAM. And if they see and hear that Once and Always has had a record-setting viewership number in the first 24, 48 hours for Netflix, to me that opens the door for them to at least contact Netflix and say, hey, we got something that came out around the same time that has a passionate fan base just as much, as the Power Rangers do. You want to take a crack at this? And they can explain the situation with Season, and maybe Season gets an opportunity on Netflix. We'll see, or maybe they promote it to Paramount and said, "Hey, you saw those Netflix numbers? Those record-breaking numbers that Netflix got because of Once and Always. Hey, here we have Sonic SatAM season 3. This is something that fans have been wanting just as much as that. It's got just as big, if not bigger, fan base. What do you say?" And maybe Paramount Plus will go like, "Yeah, we'll do that. We'll take part in that." Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, to me, it definitely opens the door. It really does open the door, in my opinion, for for other, like I said, shows, nostalgic shows, animated, live action to take part in. It really does because when you look at the possibility of all those nostalgic shows of the 80s, the 90s, the early to mid 2000s, it's just endless. I mean, heck, if you're a My Little Pony Friendship is Magic fan, and Netflix has only the first 4 seasons currently right now, this becomes a huge success. If I'm an MLP FIM fan, you know what I do? I watch the Power Ponies episode as much as I can to say, hey, we want the ponies back. You get all those seasons here. And I guarantee you, I'm not saying it will happen, but there's a good chance they might say, okay, you promise us the same viewership numbers, we'll get you seasons 5 to 9, and there you go. That might happen. That might happen as a result. We don't know, but there are possibilities. There are strong possibilities. There's no doubt about it that could come out of this for other nostalgic shows in the past 40 to 30 years. There's a lot of potential. There really is. I mean, again, Team Season, obviously, Common Rider, Mask Rider, VR Troopers, Big Bad Beetleborgs. I mean, you name it. It could happen. It could happen. I'm not, I'm not trying to say it would. I'm not trying to say it will, but it's a potentiality that could become a reality. With the success. With Once and Always. I mean, you got all the hype behind it now and everything, and you're having it basically positioned as a reunion special that's grown up with the audience that was group that were young when it started. I mean, come on. I mean, come on. It's definitely gonna have some record-setting numbers for Netflix, and I think Netflix knows it. I think they really do. So, yeah, I honestly believe it's gonna open the door for many more nostalgic shows from the animated perspective and live action perspective to get a similar treatment. I really do. Heck, you might get sequel reunions. We might get a sequel reunion for In Space, for Zeo, for for Turbo, for Lost Galaxy, Time Force, you name it. We might get reunion specials, for those based on the success of this. But as the old saying goes, it's a wait and see situation. It really is. But in my opinion, I think it is possible. I think when you look at the time frame we're in now, you know, you got all the people that grew up on these shows and everything, animated and live action. They're now taking the reins and saying, "Hey, we're bringing these back, and we'll bring them back in a way that stays true to what they were before." So to me, it does open the door. It does open the door for many that I've mentioned to make a return, and even some that I haven't, like Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa, that can make a return. We know that Biker Mice is trying to make a return. The success here of Power Rangers could help it out even more. So we know that the door is going to open. It won't just be regularly open. It's going to get kicked down. It's going to get kicked down because the viewership numbers that Once and Always is going to give Netflix on April, what is it, 19th, is going to be mind-boggling, and that's a fact. That is a fact. But let me know what your thoughts are, guys. Do you think Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Once and Always will open the door for other nostalgic shows, animated or live action, to make a return in a reunion kind of way for streaming services like Netflix, like an Amazon Prime Video, MGM Plus, Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus, HBO Max, Paramount Plus, Peacock? What are your thoughts? Do you think it'll happen? Let me know in the comments as well as in the live chat during this live stream or in the comments afterwards. Would love to hear your thoughts on it. All right, so the last one here is number 8. Is PlayStation planning a PS6 console to be released soon, while PS5 hasn't even hit its stride? And that is a good topic and topical question to end on. Are they planning a PS6? I don't know. I mean, last I heard, there was reports that they were considering it. They were strongly considering it. I don't know if they're in the process of doing it. Um, I think that if there's any information, I think that if there's any information to come about a PS6 coming, I think if there's any, information, I think logically we're going to get that information probably by E3. Now you might say, well, Sony's not part of E3. they backed out. That's true, but it doesn't mean Sony won't put on their own E3 like event to compete with them. Just like Nintendo's going to do for their Switch or whatever future consoles and stuff they have planned, games, accessories, and all that. Same as Microsoft. These three big giants, ladies and gentlemen, are going to have their own E3 events during E3. And it'll be during the PlayStation one that we find out whether or not a PlayStation 6 is in the works. It might be years off. Like they'll make the announcement, hey, within the next 2-3 years, PlayStation 6 is coming. And if that's the case, you know, not only if that's the case, not only would we have, a definitive, I guess you could say a definitive answer, if not time frame release wise, for it, but speculation would start ramping up. Like, okay, what can the PS6 do that the PS5 hasn't done? Outside of the PS4. Like, we know the PS5 graphically, engine-wise, and all that is better than the PS4 right now. The PS4 is still a popular brand. I mean, it's as far as we know, it has not been discontinued yet. As a console, but we know the brand is still there. The focus, though, more so is on PS5, which is why a lot of the games coming, in the foreseeable future are more PS5 based, if you will. The PS4 is still a popular brand, and there's a lot of folks that want games that are PS5 exclusives to come to the PS4, and maybe they will in the near future. But the question obviously the speculation will be, what will what will the PS6 do that the PS5 hasn't already, upgraded on when it comes from evolving from the PS4? Like, what will the graphic engine, like what will the graphics and the graphical engine and all that on the inside be, and everything? I mean, you just recently had the PVR2, the PSVR2 come out, which is PlayStation's answer, more expensive answer, if you will, to the MetaQuest. But the thing is, where do they go from here? What would be the next step? What would a PlayStation 6 graphically do, and everything that the PS5 hasn't already done? What will the engine be like? How much more powerful will it be? How much more, RAM space, terabyte space, gigabyte space will it provide? And all that, along with other questions people will have. They'll even ask, okay, will it have, backwards compatibility? Will we be able to, insert our physical PS5 games, maybe even our physical PS4 games into it and get a graphical upgrade maybe with them? Will we be able to transfer our data from the PS5 to the PS6 like we do with the PS4 to the PS5? Will we be able to transfer PS4 data to the PS6? See, these will be questions people will be asking and speculating and wondering on and theorizing on, if the announcement is made around E3 time by Sony themselves during their own event. So, I look at it like this. I look at it like this. At the end of the day, the time frame to find out whether or not a PS6 is coming will be around the summer of this year. But I don't think we're going to get the console until maybe 2025, 2026 at the latest. Because here's the thing. The PS5 hasn't even hit its stride. The PS5 hasn't even hit its stride. The PS5 is still in its prime. Again, like I said, you just had the PVR2 come out. And they're still trying to, put games out for that. So to me, it hasn't even hit its stride yet. So I say let it hit its stride before you make any announcement, official. Or if you are going to make an announcement during the summer, of this year, then make sure that the release date isn't for another 2 or 3 years. Allow the current console and its previous and its predecessor, to still hit its stride, as well as the predecessor to leave the long-lasting legacy that it's going to be known for. Give it time. And by the time we get to 2025 or 2026, not only would have the PS5 hit its stride and left an imprint, an imprint, if you will, a what's the word I'm looking for, a mark on the video game industry, you know, like the PlayStation 4. But also at the same time, the PlayStation 4, you might discontinue it by then. Would have left a long-lasting legacy that proves that if done right, a video game console can last for generations. And a generation is a decade, right? So it can last a decade or more, and games can still be made for it and utilized on it. And it could still surpass your expectations. So to me, I believe that if you're going to make an announcement for a PS6 to come out, the best time is during the summer when you do your own little E3 event, that being Sony. But you make the release date for 2 or 3 years into the future. So you give your current console, which you just brought out a VR set for, you give it its time to hit its stride, make an imprint, if you will, make a impact, I should say, that's the word I'm looking for, on the video game industry, the current generation, as well as you let the one that came before it, to continue building on its legendary status to the point that even by the time we get to that PS6 and you've discontinued the PS4, it would have its legendary impact would have lasted or would have been made so much would have been made so much that every console that is not PlayStation will want to try to emulate what Sony has done with these systems. You also, at the same time, by basically holding off on a release for another 2 3 years, you give it time to be looked at, worked on, and basically you look at some of the weak points, if any, the PS5 had, and improve on it with the PS6, and probably add in a few more features and stuff in there that fans have been wanting for the longest time in both the PS4 and the PS5. Now you can use, now you'll have the technology to insert those features and everything into the PS6. But in closing, is PlayStation planning a PS6 console to be released soon while the PS5 hasn't even hit its stride? I would say yes. I think they are planning for one, but I think the announcement for it will be in the summer during E3, during the E3 event, not at E3, but during their own little E3 event to coincide with E3. But I also think that they're going to announce not only is a PS6 coming, but they're going to announce that the release date will not be until at least holiday 2025 or 2026. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I do think one is coming, but it won't be for another 2 or 3 years. But let me know what your thoughts are in the live chat and in the comments below. And that will about do it. In closing, guys, I thank you all for joining me for this. I do apologize for any lag that happened during this live stream. Any interruptions, phone-wise, I do apologize for that. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I know this went a lot longer than I think any of my topics on my mind have gone for quite some time. It's definitely worn me out because I could feel it already. I feel it already and everything. I got to get something in my stomach, guys. But yeah, thank you all for joining me. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate your time and all that. I will, over time, provide chapters for each and every one of these topics. You guys can check it out when you can. You can definitely tell this was a big makeup from my topics on my mind on Friday, because again of the interruption, the pause, the break to help my mom out and everything. So you can definitely tell this is a big makeup from that. But anyway, though, guys, thank you all for joining me. I really appreciate it. Hope you all have a good day. I will try to get more content out to you before this day is out. But let me know what your thoughts are down below and everything. Love to hear your thoughts on each and every one of these topics, which will have chapters added to them. And you will eventually get an audio podcast version of this at my BW Roses discussions. And until next time, guys, I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care.